All right, good morning, everybody. Don't let the rain outside damper what is a Victory Monday, 4th and Monday. Everybody had a Victory Monday?
Yes.
You're up and at 'em, cracking open that first can with all of us on a Monday. Huge sports day for yours truly.
You get, what are you going to do?
Watch.
Well,
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I mean,
Captain
heard it here
Obvious over
first.
here asks a question, gets a great answer.
obviously,
And you can hear this on the radio replay.
Obviously not. Like you're not going to not watch. Like you're going to
No,
watch
no,
the
I'm
games. But like,
You know what? I think
you're-
I'll read.
you're going to be double.
Get caught up on my
I got
books.
I got some Abbott Elementary to catch up on. Great show.
Do you
by the
actually
way.
watch that? I wouldn't be surprised.
I think it's a great show.
Yeah.
It looks like a good show.
Yeah, I
on
like
me. It
shows
looks
that are
funny.
well written.
Okay.
That's
Get
a show that is well written.
But like, I would be. These are your two top teams. Like, I would
Yes,
be
sir.
incredibly stressed for you.
Um,
I'm kind of stressed thinking about you because I'm just going to be stressed during one of them,
Well,
and I'm not going to be nearly as stressed watching the game as you're going to.
so this is a great sports day because you get Tension Convention in Philadelphia after what the GOAT did on Saturday. He struck out 9.
I know.
See that?
I'm aware.
Yeah,
No,
okay.
I didn't. I didn't.
No, he
watch
did strike out 3 times,
I
but
didn't watch the game.
at the plate. But that's at 5:08, and then the Chiefs and the Jags from Jacksonville at 7:15, and then the Cubs play at 8:08.
It's so late. I don't get
I
it.
know.
I mean,
They're
it's
in,
so late.
they're in Milwaukee.
What do you
You
mean
should play
so
at
late?
7.
Did you not stay up last night to watch the second coming of Drake May?
No, I was watching baseball, but yes.
The second coming of Drake May,
Yeah.
or the second coming of Josh Allen.
No, Drake May was the story last night.
No, I know, but wouldn't
Well, I don't know. I know
wouldn't
all
Drake
of the
May
calls
be the
that
first coming of
I
Drake
wonder.
May?
I wonder if there was a quarterback from the Midwest that would have gotten all the calls that Josh Allen got last night. How people would have thought about him. But you know what? Buffalo lost, and the Miami Dolphins 1972 team celebrates. But no, last night turned out to be in the witching hour of the nighttime, as it was storming outside.
Yeah.
It turned into be a really good sports night because the atmosphere in Seattle was great.
Yeah.
That's the best series going is the Tigers and the Mariners. And I think the Tigers are going to kick themselves for wasting a Scooble start.
Mm-hmm.
But now they go back to Detroit. But the atmosphere is great and good for Seattle, their fans, the Mariner organization, first playoff victory
What
at
a day in
home
Seattle
in a
yesterday.
long time. Yeah, it was what a very interesting day in Seattle.
Oh,
Because earlier in the day, you had the fantastic uniform matchup between the Creamsicles and the Steve Largents that Baker Mayfield once again led a late minute comeback.
crazy.
Then you walk across the street and you watch game 2 of the ALDS. That's pretty cool.
And if you drove, you're still stuck in traffic right now on I-5.
I
Take the choo-choo.
I thoroughly enjoyed also too watching the Yankees get drubbed by the Toronto Blue Jays, which, by the way, talk about an electric atmosphere. That was
Yeah.
awesome.
Do you think it's poetic that a Canadian team clubbed a team from New York in this day and age?
Probably
Star, I like it.
Probably poetic.
How about the guy that started for the Blue Jays yesterday actually started the year in the Florida State League, which is low A.
Really?
And now he's shoving in game 2 of the ALDS to put the Yankees on the brink of shaking up their franchise.
That splitter was absolutely incredible.
Yanks can't hit splitters. That's true. Good job, baseball guy.
Baseball guy, ball knower card. I watched
I
that.
heard some stuff you said on Big Red Overreaction.
Well,
I'm questioning some of that things.
I said a lot of really good things on Big Red Overreaction, and
Whoa,
I also
not
took
really.
Shoulder
Yes, I
out.
Not
did.
really, but
Yes, I did.
I'm glad your parents listen.
I didn't unload the clip either. I kept a lot of takes within me so we can use it on the show, like you
Can't
told me.
wait.
I watched that game.
By the way, it only took me like 5 minutes to unwind these earbuds.
I know.
Thank you.
That's actually
Thank you
not
for
long.
thank you for
considering.
stretching for me.
I was caught off guard massively when you put on your microphone and you didn't have your earbuds in, which everybody knows. Bud guy.
I'm a Bud guy. Oh, and also I'm going to secure my phone.
Cubs
right
fan and a Bud
here.
band?
Dang it. I
Jimmy, did you hear
forgot.
about our phone dilemma?
No, what happened now?
So somebody,
Oh,
In the studio, you mean? Our phones?
so Friday morning,
Okay.
I have my phone where I usually do, and I have it right here close by.
Oh,
or
yes, that phone dilemma.
I have it
yes.
up that I'm looking at it. See if I get any breaking news.
yes.
So I texted somebody at 9:50
Mhm.
on this phone that was right here. At 9:55, when the show ended and we were doing the transition and the Happer show was coming in, I was like, well, where'd my phone go? I thought maybe I threw it in my bag, threw it in my pocket. Nope. Looked around for it. Could not find my phone.
You thought our boy took it.
Well,
He was running
no,
around
I was
frantically.
Like, I was like, gosh, did I just misplaced it? Did somebody just
Yeah.
accidentally pick it up? And so, when you have find your iPhone, you can ding
Yes.
it. And so it goes, well, that's a horrible sound to hear at 6:14.
Did sound like Mark.
So I did not hear it in studio, but the location on my computer said that it was in this building
It's
still.
somewhere in this room.
Yeah.
Did we ever find out what happened?
Oh, there will be video shared.
Oh, will there be? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right
You
now.
look
I'm
good on
innocent.
video.
I went back to
You
my
do
desk.
look good on video. So found it near the mailboxes, pinging where nobody in the building was like going near the mailboxes for 10 minutes.
No.
While it was just pinging. But you do look good on video.
It
It was
wasn't
very, very
me.
nice little sleight of hand.
It
But okay,
wasn't me at all.
That's okay.
I do find it funny, though, by the way, that we thought it was plausible that I would have blacked out, grabbed your phone, placed it by the mailbox.
That's what it
and then
looks like
walked
when we
back.
were watching the video.
That would have
Friday
been Wednesday
afternoon.
with the whiskey.
You said wait. You just said that we haven't seen the video yet, and now you're claiming
No,
that
no,
you saw the video.
I saw the video. When you responded to me, I said I haven't seen the video yet. And you go, oh man, I don't think I blacked out. And I'm like, oh, that's it ain't no big deal. Then we saw the video and it was like, oh, well, there's Matt.
No, it wasn't.
It was good. It was good though.
Yeah.
It was good.
little workplace
Yeah.
drama.
We did I took it to forensics.
Did
They
ya?
swiped it. Yeah.
Well, I've never been
You got a
arrested.
parking ticket you need to pay, by the way.
I did. I paid
Yeah.
the parking
Yeah,
ticket.
you gotta-
already.
when
Well, it's
we-
actually a speeding ticket.
When your thing came up, it said you have a parking ticket that you need to pay. So that's okay. That's okay. Welcome to Monday. It's Victory Monday. It is 4th and Monday. Everybody had a good weekend. I saw one of the, I've seen many games in the old Grandma on 10th and Vine in Lincoln.
And that was one of them.
At his,
Wind game.
well, so thank you.
I did.
So
it
a
crossed my mind.
weird game, the way it was unfolding. I think when Matt Rule speaks today,
Mm-hmm.
be curious to hear what he thinks about the review of his offensive line. But the wind, this is not an excuse because both teams had a play in it. And Michigan State made a really odd decision at the beginning of the second half when it comes to the wind. The wind, if you were in the stadium, was a factor. And so I think any discussion about the game also has to have the caveat of the wind, because in the north end zone, those goalposts,
Yeah.
I thought were going to snap, and they were going the entire game. They were weaving back and forth, and then one upright would move forward, the other would go backwards. I mean, the wind was really,
It's like
really
that Bears
nasty.
game several years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know, because from what I understand, the FS1 broadcast did not meet the standard of Big Ten football.
Mm-mm.
So you maybe did not get it from the broadcast that the wind was definitely a factor.
Well,
But if you're in the stadium, it was first of all, it was hot. It was just a weird day, but the wind was a factor.
so at one point, Connor Happer and I were watching the game together in the fourth quarter. We started
That's
laughing
cute.
because Tim Brando and his color commentator couldn't stop talking about the wind. Like it was like every fourth word, like wind was used. And we thought, we were
Excellent
like,
protection there. Wind.
We were like, okay, we get it. Now, I'm a little disappointed though now, because that would have been a really good shot to use on the broadcast of like the goalpost actually like
Mhm.
going back and
Yeah.
forth. They never once cut to that and use that as an example. It was just Brando being like, the wind, the wind, the wind. Larry the Cable Guy. I love his
Wind
wife. They
with
had
Larry
us
the
over the
Cable
other day. The wind.
Yeah.
And then he would, and man, it was like
Sounds like a
it was like a
drinking game.
Michigan State broadcast for like 75% of that game
I-
too.
I said Timmy B loves some Timmy B. I just,
And some
I'm
GBR.
gonna look at it this way, because it would be easy to complain about the broadcast because there were like, it just technically it wasn't very good. And then, Archie Wilson, man, he might be the greatest punter of all time. He's only punted in Nebraska for 5 games, but he's a 2-time All Big Ten punter.
Yeah, that was a crazy drop. That was wild.
It just
I love how he went from he's homesick and his family misses him a ton, and he traveled all the way from Australia and is only 18 years old. And then 5 weeks later, he's a 2-time All Big Ten guy.
I don't
What's a
wanna-
Big Ten,
I
mate?
don't want to crush fellow announcers, and Tim's had an incredible career from ESPN, and he loves Nebraska. He loves some Timmy B.
I
Timmy
miss
B
him-
loves
miss him
Timmy
with
B.
Spencer.
I miss him. I missed his video yesterday. I thought he'd do a selfie as he was departing Lincoln.
He
But
was at the
I'm
rail
just going to spin it this way: if you want better announcers, be better at football.
Okay.
There you go. That's the way to discuss it.
Well, even when you get on the ESPN broadcast, you still get Mark Jones. So it's not like it's foolproof.
Well, be better. If Nebraska is better, you get better announcers. That's how I'm going to look at it, because there's a lot to discuss in what I saw when I rewatched it. Because people, if you're at the game and you're not watching the game, and people are commenting to you about, you have no idea. Okay, well, I'm watching the game. I'm watching like in person with my own eyeballs. It's right there. I could reach out and grab Hunter's shoe as he runs by, which it just backed up my theory. In bare feet, you run faster.
That's not true.
Yeah, I run faster in bare feet.
Okay, maybe you as a middle-aged man.
So Alzaya Hunter, that was a Brando drop. Alzaya.
I thought I heard that.
Yeah,
I didn't hear that.
Runs faster with only one shoe.
You don't. Okay, maybe like
I
said,
Red Sox.
maybe an average person, middle-aged man like you, might run faster in bare feet, right? Because there's better grip.
Yeah.
And Isaiah Hunter is not going to run faster in bare feet than he would in cleats.
Oh, he looked pretty fast.
He was.
He looked pretty fast.
He said in the postgame that he didn't even know his shoe was off.
Because he's so fast.
Most people didn't as he was running down the field.
I'm going to be real with you. I thought it was two different colored sneakers.
Oh,
That's
red
what my
and white?
wife said.
Yeah, I thought it looked as if I was like, oh, like that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then
Mhm.
Brando mentioned he's like, even without a shoe. And I go, oh, I guess he lost it.
Yeah.
He looks fast.
That was just another addition to the weirdness that was Saturday between Nebraska and Michigan State. Well, welcome everybody on a happy Monday.
Everybody
Victory
won?
Monday. Everybody won. We hope two teams in particular win tonight, and we'll be happy. Sorry, Bob Franzese, the lone Jacksonville Jaguar fan that I know out there. Coming up on the show, Evan Bland will stop by in about 2 hours. Yeah, Bob's diehard Jacksonville fan. He's been a Jags fan for a long time.
Do you have every team marked off on your list in terms of knowing diehard fans? Because you've marked. That's a tough one.
I don't think I could get to every team in the NFL.
Okay. But you got Giants, you have Jags, you got Cowboys, you have Bears.
Thank
you,
you,
Chiefs.
that game.
All
for
those
the
things, all those
Saints
teams
missing
are
a
the
field
same.
goal.
What? Survivor pool?
No, my survivor pick was Minnesota. So if anybody was watching the Average Joe show yesterday, the Viking game was coming to an end and Wentz was leading that drive, and I was watching it as we were doing the show.
Were you sweating it
He had nerves.
on the show?
Well, I knew they were going to. I shouldn't guarantee because, a TV wire might get in the way in London.
That was crazy.
But I was, I was like, please just get me to another week. But yes, there were a lot of people that, had a little rough day yesterday when it comes to survivors. We had 5. So the first 4 weeks in the NFL, there were 5 double-figure comebacks. There were 5 yesterday.
Wow.
Just a weird day in the NFL, but football was good throughout the weekend. It's such a week-to-week vibe and the mode. So we'll get Evan Bland's vibe as he prepares for a trip to Maryland for a 2:30 kick on Saturday. Next up, the Skurs and the Terps. Evan will join us coming up at 8:30. That's the lineup brought to you by the Rooferys at John Higgins Weather Guard. So Nebraska's 4-1. Penn State hasn't done anything against the spread. Texas Tech is unbeaten. Just weirdness in college football. It's very chaotic. But Saturday was so weird. But I think this is how I'm looking at the game. And I tweeted this out right away. I think if you watch that game, there's a couple of things you can acknowledge about current Nebraska football.
Yeah.
And trust me, I feel stronger about my 9-3 than I did before the game.
I got you.
After watching the rest of college football. Now, it's a week-to-week thing. I think the game has the potential to be a tension convention this upcoming Saturday.
I agree.
Okay. The line is what it is. Just it's a road game. Nebraska's not happy. They're playing at 2:30. They're going out there early. Apparently, Nebraska's leaving on Thursday.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
Nebraska was told like 6 months ago that it would be an 11 a.m. game.
Oh, and then it got flipped?
and then it turned to 2:30.
That's ridiculous.
So Nebraska, I think the plan is Nebraska is going to go out early because they got to turn around and of course they play Minnesota. But now this next 2 game stretch is kind of the one that we all looked at and went, okay.
Yeah.
But I feel stronger about Nebraska being 9-3, looking at the landscape of the rest of the schedule of you could get to November and you could have 4 programs where that might be the last time you see their head coach.
Wow.
Because what if USC loses to Michigan? Then they lose to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
What happens? Well, UCLA is UCLA. Penn State,
Yeah.
Penn State could have 3 losses by the time Nebraska sees them. Kirk Ferentz could be coaching his last regular season game. So the schedule is like
It's an interesting way of putting it.
the way it falls. But back to Saturday,
Mhm.
I think you can acknowledge, and you guys were talking about this, and you were spot on Big Red Overreaction. I think you can acknowledge watching that game that Nebraska has shown growth,
Mhm.
but they very much are an imperfect team, and both of those I think go hand in hand.
I think that's probably the perfect way to describe it. And to be fair, like I think that's kind of what Matt Rule communicated at his press conference. I kind of liked I really did like the candidness from him, just being like, look, there are things we got to work around. Like we're not perfect.
Mhm.
He even at one point goes, we're not a good run defense
Mhm.
team, and then he kind of tongue in cheek was like, oh, we were today. But man, that I was thinking about this when I woke up this morning. That Ja'Cory Barney play on 3rd and 10 on that wheel route at the end of the third quarter, like to me, that is like
Play of the game.
growth in the nutshell.
They
Well,
look different after that.
I don't know. I don't know. I'd throw that under the growth thing because sometimes you need a little luck. Okay.
Sure.
You need a little breakdown on the other side. Let's be honest. Also, when Nebraska won a game when they're not the best, and Nebraska's lost a lot of those games during the course of the last 10 plus years where it's a weird game
Mm-hmm.
and they find a way more to hand the game away than to take the game like they did, because
Mhm.
there was a middle portion of that game that it was an absolute train wreck. Okay,
God.
Nebraska couldn't do anything right, and you're like, okay. But also, let's give a big thank you. Everybody sign the thank you card and send it to East Lansing. Michigan State pulled a Nebraska. Okay, Michigan State farted in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
But you know what they did? They had a major breakdown on special teams. So games like that Nebraska's lost,
I know.
Michigan State said, hold my beer. We'll play the role of Nebraska. And you know what? Nebraska took advantage of that, and they found a way to make winning plays and to get a break thanks to special teams. And when I say you can acknowledge that they've had growth, there are other areas that are imperfect and may not be fixed this year. But turnovers, penalties, special teams, 3 things that help you win games that are weird that you should lose. Nebraska's done a really good job with that. You know, this is 5 straight games where Nebraska's either won the turnover battle or it's been even. So they're what, a +6?
That's, I mean, to me, that's such a big deal. Probably more of a bigger deal than what the number entails, because when Matt Rule first got to Nebraska, that was like message number 1 on day 1 at like the very first press conference.
Mm-hmm.
That he literally was like unraveling like 10 years of stats on the media, being like, here were the turnover differentials over the last couple of years. This is why we lost. We have to go ahead and we have to win it. And to your point too, like defense, special teams, turnovers, all that stuff. On top of that, how many times have we seen them get those breaks and not take advantage?
Yeah,
Like,
they haven't. And Michigan State, they let them into a break. The special teams, the kickoff that was planned, that got caught in the wind.
Yeah.
And recovered by Nelson.
And
and Nebraska then does something with it.
And then not also too, like turning that stuff into touchdowns as opposed to it being, 3 and out. We're going to kick a field goal. We're going to miss the field goal, give the momentum right back. Like football is a ultimate momentum game. And that was a game that so many times, with how the stadium was so antsy and just so stressed, that they could have let the momentum get away from them. And they just, and they did it. And multiple times, Gary, they flipped the momentum. They had 0, and they actually like created something out of nothing. And
I don't know.
I mean,
there was, so when the game started and Nebraska's opening drive, I thought this is going to be a day where they're going to win big.
Yeah.
And if you want to play the woulda, coulda, shoulda game, I mean, should have touchdowns. Is that on PFF?
No.
Okay. Nebraska puts up 51 in that game. Okay. Should have touchdowns.
Yeah.
But then Michigan State could say, well, your quarterback threw us a gift and our guy fell down, because all of a sudden that would have looked like UCLA.
Yeah.
An early pick in the second half. It's also like a game like that. And when it's the blending of the past and what Nebraska wants to be, where you go, this is the same old Nebraska. They're going to blow it in this game.
Yeah.
Or it's like, okay, this might be the new Nebraska, because again, they weren't at their best and they still won the game, and you never apologize for winning. And you go, hey, Fortober is still alive. And we don't even, we know we got some issues.
Yeah.
But we won a football game. Now what do we do with that? Because I think if I think, and Shafe and I had this discussion leaving the stadium Saturday night. It had the feel, the way that game was going, that if Nebraska wouldn't have found a way to win on Saturday, they would have lost this Saturday, they would have lost Friday, and all of a sudden the season's or next Friday, and the season would have been in a spiral.
Yes.
Because of the way they lost this game on the heels of Michigan. And then you're like, okay, show me some growth. Winning a game like that.
Overreaction would still be on. We'd
so-
have to wait.
Well,
I mean, I know it's not all there's some people that expect more, and I think we should expect more of certain aspects of this team, but showed me something. They were not at their best in all three phases. The consistency is lacking, but then you get moments where you go, that's what it's supposed to look like. And they won a game. They won a game against a team that they are better than.
yes.
Oh
God, yes.
Yes.
We talked to Graham Couch on Friday.
Uh-huh.
I worry about Jonathan Smith. That's a
Oh.
poorly coached football team.
Well,
That's a poorly coached team that played into Nebraska's strengths, and Nebraska took advantage of it. And in the past, when you played a team that's poorly coached and they make mistakes,
yeah.
like decisional mistakes, you don't take advantage of it. So I'm going to look at that as a win and a step forward for Nebraska.
Your point about them probably losing to Maryland and then probably losing to Minnesota after that. I mean, that is very similar to what happened in 2021, right? You lose to Michigan, a ranked Michigan team at home by 3.
Mm.
And then you go ahead and you play a team like Minnesota on the road in 2021, and you lose that game thinking that you were favored in that game, thinking you were going to win that game.
Yep.
And you lose that game on the road, and then you go to Purdue and you're a favorite again at home against Purdue, and then you lost that game. And all of a sudden that season was just lost after that. And so I think if you were to tell me, hey, this is the difference between the culture in 21 and the culture of the 2025 team, I would take that as like an argument of like, hey, here are the differences. With Jonathan Smith, I was so happy we had Graham on, and I was thinking about, even before the kickoff, like him talking about Jonathan Smith having a tough time connecting with Michigan State fans and having a tough time connecting with Midwest fans. When his post-game press conference, he seemed like a desperate coach, like trying to connect with his fan base.
They got some issues. They probably would love to take Mike Eckler home with them because they're bad on special teams.
They're off.
And I was really let down. Childs must have been concussed when he got flattened by Judy. Neither quarterback played exceptionally well.
Yeah.
But Childs was not very good.
Well, he floated those 2 interceptions. They were absolutely terrible throws, and those weren't even throws against the wind. He had the wind at his back there, and he absolutely sailed those 2.
Yeah, he was I expected big things. Tell you what, if I'm running Spartan Monday reaction,
yeah,
I'm throwing a match into the fire and saying, hey, do we have a quarterback controversy here?
Well, the backup looked really, really good. Naperville, Illinois product, by the way.
I saw that.
Last time a Naperville, Illinois product played for Michigan State at the quarterback position, it was Peyton Thorne, who ended up playing at Auburn.
There's a nugget.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm saying quarterback controversy yet with Aiden Childs. If I was Spartan overreaction, I still think he's incredibly talented. I still think he could be really, really good. And I do think we now have to start having the conversation of like the Nebraska secondary might actually be one of the 5 best units in the country.
What is the average? So the 5 quarterbacks that Nebraska's faced, I think the average is they're 10 of 22 for 76 yards.
Crazy.
Like the defensive backfield is teetering on. You could go and say, yeah, they're like 09. They're really, really good. And Singleton had a monster day. Just Nebraska, when they had to, they found a way to make plays. And, defensively, they go through stages where Childs has a quarterback sneak from the 4 and nobody touches him. He runs right through the middle of the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
The only person that made any contact with him is Rex Guthrie did not see him coming by and brushed his shoulder.
Yeah.
And then Childs goes into the end zone. And that was as the Michigan State train was going across the bridge and Nebraska's bridge was falling into the ravine. That was part of the train wreck. And you're like, I've seen this before.
Yeah.
This is not good.
Hey,
but he was, what Nebraska did to him. But when he had to make plays, like he could have run a little bit more. Well, he was so hesitant to run.
I was sitting here with Connor, and Connor was like, Sorsby, like he was making Brendan Sorsby jokes, like when they were marching down the field. And then after he scored that touchdown, he stopped doing it. And I think Nebraska did a good job in the fourth quarter, actually containing the pocket a little bit better than they did in the third quarter. Now, granted, they've played so many running quarterbacks up to this point. I hope they're skilled enough to do that.
By the way, look, the defensive metrics will get better.
Oh,
we're about ready to go on a stretch of non-running quarterbacks.
Yeah. Well, Preston Stone dropped 42 points against ULM.
Does he run?
No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
But I think Nebraska, even though they haven't won a ton over the last couple of years, they've always been front runners. Like it's almost as if they've had to get.
That's not a good term.
And they've had to like have a ton of momentum and keep that momentum and like keep it rolling. And as soon as they got into a ditch and as soon as they got into a foxhole, they haven't been able to claw themselves out of it. I mean, it's like, how many times have we seen that game, that Michigan State game they just played, and they get down 21-14? It's like, all right, it's over. This game is done. Like that was the first time in a very long time. And the first time, I think, in the Matt Rule era where they clearly were like in a ditch and they were like, you know what? We're the controllers of our own destiny. Like we are a good football team. Like we're just going to go out and we're going to make a play and we're going to start rolling along with it.
Yeah. All right. You can join the show on a Victory Monday reaction. If you weren't able to get into a Big Red Overreaction, or as you weren't able to get a swipe at the Michigan State fan. Where you at? Where you at?
Why didn't he call in? What a coward.
I know. You know what? Front runner. Yeah. 402-951-1620. That's a Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. You can also email us into the Equitable Bank inbox, Gary or Matt at 1620thezone.com, or on Twitter, where, you know what? People don't understand real-time tweets.
What do you mean by that?
So during the train wreck, it was right after the Childs touchdown.
Okay.
I put Nebraska as a hot mess because they were. So people think I tweeted that at the end of the game.
Well.
Oh, so you got a lot of angry tweets.
Yeah. There
Oh,
are,
yeah. People are like, why? We unsubscribe. And I'm like,
did you lose followers?
Did you? I don't know. I didn't even look. But there was one guy who was like, unsubscribe. And I'm like, okay, real-time tweet. Maybe scroll up on my timeline and see what I wrote after the game was coming to an end.
Yeah, if it's on the For You section, don't reply on it.
Hey, you didn't believe in the team.
Hey, the For You section on College Football Saturdays is magnificent. Usually it's got a mixture of, you get some politics and you got other, like, people trying to sell you stuff and just stupid stuff. But the For You tab, go over to that on College Football Saturday. It is magnificent.
It becomes great. The Penn State jokes were incredible. I mean, when Penn State, the amount of, things are bad for your college football team when NFL people start tweeting about you. The fact when Schefter and Breer and all of them were chiming in on Penn State, it was absolutely incredible.
Yeah. An Iowa, Indiana, Ohio State trio. How many losses will Penn State have? The 1, 2, and 4 team of the preseason. I have 7 losses. Welcome. Just a great stat. Head down, move forward. Nebraska, the local team, they're 4-1. Now they play Maryland, who could have been 5-0, but they'll be out to prove that the fourth quarter wasn't a fluke. Be a very interesting game. And just if you're looking at it in the McSports book, I'm doing Big Red Overreaction. It's my lone appearance on Big Red Overreaction this year.
Let's go, Gary.
But also, I don't ever do I do very few winning Big Red Overreactions.
Yeah, people want to keep me on because I'm now 5-1.
They should. You want to take my spot?
Boom.
Wait,
no,
this week?
No,
good.
Stop. No, I would like
it's my only time all year that I'm doing Big Red Overreaction.
That's actually a big stat.
I would like a Saturday off. Just one. I'm not complaining, but I would enjoy it.
Okay.
Wah.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you for taking the mantle from me.
Yeah. You know what? I don't think it's something to brag about that you got handed all those Big Red Overreactions.
I don't. You know what?
It's like 4 other guys don't want to do the show.
I'm taking it as well as I can.
Take your
you
extra
don't even
money.
do it, like I thought you were going to be sitting in this chair. I tune in and it's all Connor. Like
it
Connor's,
wasn't all Connor.
It was a lot of Connor.
I was talking a lot. I was talking plenty. But I do what you tell me. I sit back. I do. I'm your bull.
It was a funny show. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Garrett, I'm your bull of the China
Happer
show.
handles Big Red Overreaction perfectly.
He does.
It's just like, you know what? Let's keep it moving. All about the callers.
He does. But I take your advice. You told me from the College World Series.
I can
go take pictures with kids.
You wanna so bad just drop football knowledge. You want to break things down.
Do you hear me like breathing heavy over on the microphone over here? 3-4, 3-4.
Can I-
4-man
Can I
front.
talk about what Dana did in the second half, please?
2-eye.
Yeah. All right. You got all the digits to get in on Twitter at Gary Sharp 1620 at Matt McMedia. We're off and rolling. Good sports day. We got 2 baseball games. Somebody's going 2-0 or somebody's going 1-1. Or all of a sudden the AFC West has a 3-way tie at the top.
Incredible. Oh, I thought you were going to talk about the AFC South, which all of a sudden could be one of the most entertaining divisions in all of sports. Colts versus Jaguars. Who would have thought?
All right. Great sports weekend once again. Happy Monday, everybody. Up and Adam, welcome in on 1620 The Zone. Oh, what a glorious start to the month. It's a little bit chilly outside. What happened to my warm weather?
It's gone. Thank God.
No.
just
I
need to get-
think it's going
No,
to warm up midweek.
No, it's autumn, baby.
Yeah.
Is it actually? Like, how hot? My air conditioning is broken in my car.
That's too bad.
No more cold air. Like, it was so bad. I was driving to Papillion to see the Millard South Papillion La Vista game.
Closest
was-
game that Millard South's played in state this year.
Yeah, it was I mean, it
It was
wasn't
58-3. Do
it
not
wasn't-
sit here and go, it was a close game.
No, I wasn't going to say that, and I wasn't going to say it was competitive. But I do think Papillion played pretty well. I mean, they kind of shut down the run, so credit to them.
I'm in search of a competitive game. If someone can show me the way, I will come and do your game on Thursday and Friday night.
You were at you weren't at a competitive game on Friday.
31 Love. I'll talk more about prep.
Yeah.
Yep. But think about this. So the first weekend in October always delivers. You know, it's my favorite sports month. So you've got college football and the NFL are heating up. You got 4 Major League Baseball series. You got the NBA going through preseason. Then you got the NHL, which starts this week. You got the WNBA going on. You got the NASCAR playoffs. First weekend in October always delivers.
NASCAR playoffs.
Yeah,
Nice.
I mean, you and I are probably the only two that are watching because nobody else is.
I was watching yesterday.
But Denny Hamlin now into the final 8. Denny Hamlin's going to win it. There you go. That's my bold prediction.
I think Chase Elliott might have a shot, but SVG won at the Roval yesterday.
He did.
Hell
He
of a-
was
hell of a
my number
track.
one pick on NASCAR.com, so I got some points for that. Let's start with CJ to begin the morning on a Victory Monday. Good morning, CJ.
CJ,
Okay. This happened to you guys on Big Red Overreaction.
3 times in a row.
CJ, call back. CJ
Please.
would like to talk about the wind.
It was blowing.
It was a wind game. Hey, we answered my question that I asked you earlier last week. Have you ever had an in particularly windy game? And you both laughed at me. Well, now we will always remember 2025 Michigan State as the wind game.
I won't remember.
Rutgers was a windy game. Maybe Dylan doesn't play well in the wind because of small hands. So I wonder if he'll hurt him at the combine.
Does he have small hands? I thought he has big hands.
Never shook hands with him. But I do see his hands telling the crowd to get loud.
Do you think if you ever like shake hands with him, you would just like start like, looking at the hand? Like
He doesn't seem like a handshake guy, and I don't. 18 to 22-year-old kids, I don't shake hands. We fist bump, or we do the hugs.
I've never hugged you.
That's probably keep that on the list.
We fist bump though.
Yes, we do. Yeah, we do. All right, let's see if the phones are working here with Nebraska Ball Mike.
They're
Nope.
working.
Nope, they're not. Hey, Mike,
Yeah, they are.
we can't hear you.
They're working.
Okay.
$40 million roster and
Where,
football royalty couldn't save you in the swamp, could it?
where are we going?
Penn State,
Oh,
you still can't have our coach, even though you might want him.
can I just pause something here?
Is Matt
What-
Rule going to end up at the Creamery next year?
Before 7 o'clock?
Full-time?
You knew that was
No.
coming.
Yes.
You
Okay.
knew that was coming.
Hey, why would Penn State hire Matt Rule?
Why would? Excuse me.
Why would Penn State hire Matt Rule right now?
Do I want to? Do you want me to quote Bear Bryant?
Sure, because we don't have enough of that on the show.
It's true.
When Mama comes calling, you come home.
But why? What would be? Would you take James Franklin over Matt Rule right now?
No.
Okay, Matt Rule.
What in the world are you looking at?
You just answered
I
my
would take
question.
somebody else over Matt Rule, but who else are they looking at? Who else is going to take that job right now?
What? Take Matt Rule out of this discussion. You can talk about Penn State all you want. I think this is Matt Rule's last job, Mike.
You really do.
Yeah. Why? If you get this thing rolling here, why would you leave Nebraska? Okay, and I also think
Good
that
point.
he's only going to be a head coach for about 7 to 10 more years.
Okay.
I don't think he's going to be coaching into his late
You
60s,
don't
early
think that
70s.
Penn State's got more money sitting around than we do
But why would
somewhere?
there are better candidates than Matt Rule if I was going to hire somebody at Penn State? And
Okay.
okay, I mean, they do have
Okay.
a they do have a
Well,
dil- they do
yeah,
have
I-
it they do have a dilemma at Penn State, but this leave the Matt Rule thing is that's too easy to go. Oh, the connection. I don't know. If I was a Penn State fan, I would be disappointed if they came and tried to hire Matt Rule. You can't beat ranked teams, and now you're hiring a guy that can't beat ranked teams?
I mean, Matt Rule's 63 and 57.
Matt Rule's fine at Nebraska. He likes being here.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Okay. All right. Now, I will say this. That is one of the weirdest games I've ever watched in my life.
Okay.
I literally felt, I was not there, but I felt the energy go out of the building and then come back in 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And I have never felt that before in my life. It was really weird. And we have 75% of the defense and no offensive line. Dylan Raiola, you have to match your eyes with your feet. Your back foot hits the ground, the ball's got to come out. If it doesn't, you're dead. Dana, you got to do a better job calling the game for him. But right now we have no offensive line, so it's really hard.
I would leave Dana out of this conversation, Mike. I thought Dana called a really good game in the second half.
He did, but you got to call slants and you got to call routes that are going to come open
You can call
without him looking for them
well
because he doesn't have time.
They all got to go together. 11 on the field, and then the play that's called. I thought Dana had a really good second half. I thought there were some things he did that if Nebraska executes, there's more explosive plays than they had.
I just this is the first game that scares me. Well, Michigan scared me too, but going on the road, if we can wake up early and play well early, we'll be in the game. And I'd rather be, 8-4 at the end of the year than 6-6, like I said. But it starts this weekend.
Yeah, it's quarterback against quarterback. Washington is a freshman. He doesn't run. There's maybe one or two designed runs all year. He doesn't scramble a lot, but he also gets rid of the ball when he feels pressure. They stop the run. They don't run it really well. So I think prepare for a close game, and don't be surprised if it's a close game. Just don't look at the logo. Look at 4-1, 4-1. And I also think Maryland will try and prove playing at home that fourth quarter against Washington when they could have been 5-0 wasn't a fluke. Mike, thanks for the phone call.
Mike turned into Tom Moore there. 1, 2, 3, throw the MFR away.
Well, we'll take a break because this is, I say that you can't really have a discussion on Saturday without factoring in the wind, in the way some guys played, some guys coached. I also don't think we can have a discussion around here about the offensive line without including the quarterback and vice versa.
Yeah, I saw the PFF stats and that not all the sacks were necessarily credited to the offensive line, and that Dylan was credited with holding onto the ball too long and taking sacks. Look, I think that he played great in the fourth quarter, and that's awesome. But I think there were moments where he was reverting back to how he looked in October of last year. Like there were some plays where I was like, this looks like 15, against Ohio State.
Yeah,
this looks like 15 against Indiana.
Did I text that to you?
No.
Because I thought there were times on Saturday he looked like a guy that was starting his 6th game of the year, which ironically would have been the Rutgers game last year in the wind, not his 18th game. He just looked at times like a freshman quarterback out there. And then there would be moments where he would look like what we expect him to be. But they across the board offensively, two things. One, more consistency, because there are times where the offensive line is downfield blocking or opening up big holes. Then there are times where they're stuck in the mud. And then there also are times that I wonder what Nebraska wants to be offensively, because I don't think they have an identity yet. And they're 5 games into the season. I mean, they went from Emmett Johnson scoring on a 23-yard touchdown run to doing 13 straight passes.
Okay.
Before they ran Emmett again in the fourth quarter.
Emmett only ran 13 times. And he had his most efficient game. That was by far.
Now, would he have 120 all-purpose yards?
He had 120 all-purpose yards and 83 rushing yards. His average on rushing yards was by far the highest that it's been, taking away Houston, Christian, and Akron. And you are in the wind, and it's hard to throw, and you're trying to control a game. And for most of the game, you were leading, and they just didn't run with him. I didn't get that. I didn't understand.
All right, we'll step aside. We'll come back. Evan Bland a little bit later. Also, another aspect of the UCLA Penn State game is I am creeped out by something from that game.
What are you creeped out about?
I was stunned of something that I observed in that game. And I'll explain when we come back.
Tiny baby Newhousel getting taken off the field.
No.
That was a cool moment.
No. We'll talk about it when we come back. What a day of college football. And also, we probably should listen to Steve Spurrier, the old ball coach, closer. When he says something, he knows what he's talking about. It's Gary and Matt with Jimmy on a Victory Monday after Nebraska beats Michigan State in a weekend of football and baseball and a big night tonight. The Chiefs and the Jags, the Cubs and the Brewers, the Dodgers and the Phillies. Miss anything? And a random NBA exhibition game probably in Charleston, South Carolina.
No, I think that's tomorrow. I think we're still on the NHL preseason, though.
All right, we're back with more after this. All right, live and local on a victory on Monday, the 6th of October. You need the umbrella today or the poncho or the slickers. It's raining outside. Supposed to rain all day.
Do you use a poncho in anywhere other than a sporting event?
Or
Or like maybe when you're like at like an amusement park or something like that? Like those are the only two places I've never seen anybody like just whip out a poncho from their purse.
I mean, nobody's going
or-
to walk into the station today with a poncho.
No, I've
Like,
never seen.
hey, good morning,
Have
Josh.
you-
Good morning,
Like,
Connor.
have you seen anybody really that's got? Oh yeah, let me
Yeah.
pull out my poncho, or I got like I always have my poncho on me, or like a non-reusable poncho.
Don't forget your poncho in your car. You never know when you'll need it.
I never have.
I got a little poncho in the little packet. That's how they sell it. And then you pull it out of the packet and you can never able to put it back into the little packet.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
can't reuse it.
That's why I like to use a garbage sack. Just, bust out a couple of holes, put my arms through there.
We did
I'm
that
good.
at the 2011 Ohio State game.
Um,
Mm.
like
It was raining for a little bit, and we didn't want to.
Is
pay
it-
money for
many
ponchos.
people many people use garbage sacks at the 2009 Nebraska-Missouri game.
the only time that I've seen
Was it
people
2009?
use.
Yeah, 2009.
The only time I've seen people use garbage sacks at football games is when I was watching the 2010 Detroit Lions. Those were great times.
Yeah, makes you uncomfortable that the Lions are good, doesn't it?
Yes,
Yeah, it does.
It actively does.
Good.
I mean, they have been the laughing stock of our
Mm.
division, and we've never been the laughing stock because we've always had the Lions to beat up on. And now
Yeah.
everybody tells me how great the Lions are.
Red zone is not very good. There's my
Whoa.
moment today.
Whoa.
Now you're not gonna let me finish here, but I will. The red zone, once the buys kick into the NFL, the red zone isn't because there aren't as many games going on. So
I can understand that. Like,
I mean, I will always love the red zone, but it doesn't have the intensity.
well,
when-
I don't know. I think yesterday was just a really bad slate. Like yesterday's
Yeah, the
slate
noon window was a little bit rough.
I
a-
was pleased with
Was a crappy slate, and then it took the Philadelphia Eagles absolutely pissing down their own leg for it to become entertaining. That was very entertaining to see.
Hey, everybody won.
So quick thing here on the UCLA Penn State game.
Mhm.
By the way, the polls,
Terrible.
if you want to get excited about them, AP and coaches are a little bit different. But the Rick Neuheisel's kid,
Yeah.
and how cool was it in live TV to have Rick Neuheisel and see his emotion?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I am freaked out though
Why?
because Jera, his son, sounds exactly like his dad.
He looks like.
He
like
looks
a,
like-
But
it's
he
like going back
sounds
in time.
exactly like his dad. Like I don't sound like Walt.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't, I don't. Sometimes you'll run across a son the voice will be exactly the same as the dad, but not very often.
No, not very
like
often.
they are exactly the same. And I was like, oh.
Next Colorado head coach.
I was gonna say, do you think he's gonna?
What about next UCLA head coach?
Actually,
I don't know. I mean, it's don't get me wrong, massive win, great for the
Just
athletic
ride the
department,
wave,
Yeah.
great
grab
for
the
the
emotion,
program.
overreact.
awesome.
Hire Jerry Neuheisel as the head coach.
10-year
I don't
deal.
know. I don't know if I'd go that far. It was cool. It was a cool moment. It's a great day to be alive and be a Bruin.
New parody in college football. Always listen to the old ball coach. Steve Spurrier said that Arch was going to struggle. Arch is struggling, but Sarkisian is struggling. Their offense is in regression. He can't develop quarterbacks, and he's living off of Saban's coattails. Good luck, Texas. By the way, they might have 3 more losses on the schedule. They have Oklahoma this weekend, and weird, they're a 3-point favorite at the State Fair.
Really?
They also have Texas A&M, and don't they have Georgia? I think they have
Yes.
Georgia left
Yeah,
as
later
well.
on.
So Sark could be looking at some few more losses, but we need to look at Sark's offense. We need to look at his quarterback development because Arch is not he is not a pocket passer. And Spurrier has said that, and people went, the old ball coach. Man knows ball. That's why they call him the old ball coach.
Well,
Funny how that works.
we were calling before last season. We were calling Sark like this quarterback whisperer. It's now going to be
Who was?
Yeah.
no. This was I
Who
mean
was?
national media. I'm not saying
Yeah,
like-
they're the ones that
I
also
never
said that
was.
Arch is going to win the Heisman.
Well, you and I both sniffed that out, by the way.
Yeah.
We were never
Good job.
on that. I know
There you
we
go.
were.
Ugh.
I'm giving
Good
us
job.
credit. Someone's got to give us credit. Someone's got to say that our
True.
takes were good.
True.
Someone's got to pat ourselves on the back. Steve Sarkisian in the last 2 years has
Mhm.
failed in terms of having these quarterback prospects that we expect a ton out of, and ends up not getting nearly enough production that we anticipated that they would get. Quinn Ewers was a borderline first-round pick, second-round draft pick before the beginning of last season, with the expectation that if he were to have a big year, that he could go pretty high in the draft. He ends up being drafted in the 7th round. I mean, Arch Manning was the Heisman Trophy favorite, and now he is almost like a laughing stock in college football.
Yeah, that's who would have thought before the year began that we would be laughing at Arch and Belichick. Maybe a few people did. And that's what's happening.
Maybe a few
the other thing
people
about
did.
the UCLA, so back to James Franklin, and they have a James Franklin problem. You can live with James Franklin uncomfortably as long as he beats teams that Penn State should beat. But once you lose to a team that you should beat, then you go, what's going on here? That's their dilemma. Now, the other dilemma that happened, if I'm a Penn State fan, and they're struggling. But if you want some humor, read the replies to James Franklin's tweet about going 1-0. They play Northwestern. They will make your day. Is Penn State went across the country, and travel is real. Just ask Oregon. They went across the country and won at Penn State. Is you lost to a team that had a fan base that stormed the field, and guards were saying, spread out, make it look like the field is packed, spread out. And then there's the video of the one guard as people like there's a handful of people that are running on the field to celebrate UCLA's win
or exit the Rose Bowl easier.
There's a guard that tries to stop, looks like I would say she's probably about 11-year-old girl.
Mhm.
And he just gives up as her and her dad like run on the field. But yeah, there was a security guard who was like, spread out. Don't everybody congregate at the 30.
So-
we need to make this look better, bigger and better. That's who you lost to. By the way, shout out Nico. Welcome back to college football.
It was funny because the Vanderbilt game and the Vanderbilt Alabama game and the UCLA Penn State game began at the same time, and I had them on dueling TVs, and I was like, you see everybody in Tuscaloosa going crazy, the crowd's wild, it looks incredible. Football. I mean, it's like you could just feel the atmosphere, and then they do the wide shot at Pasadena, and it's a bunch of empty seats.
And
I'm like,
Penn State lost to a team that tarps their end zone.
I'm like, what do you think Nessler and Danielson think right now? Like looking at this crowd.
Yeah, they're pissed at Nebraska because if Nebraska would have beaten Michigan, the Nebraska-Michigan State game would have been CBS.
I mean, yeah. I mean, probably, but they ended up getting a pretty good call about a game that was poorly coached by Penn State.
Here is Ron to kick off hour number 2. Good morning, Ron.
Good morning, boys. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the team and kind of what I saw. I want to be like a calming voice for Husker Nation. Obviously we can go over the last decade every day, but I just feel like it's nice having a guy in DR15 that can just get it done. You look at what Ja'Cory Barney's done the last couple of weeks, and it's tough for me to not have faith. Obviously, I'd be lying to y'all boys if I said my heart wasn't beating through my chest and I was about to throw up when we went down 7. But I just want to give that calming message to Husker Nation. I know he got sacked a bunch of times. I know it didn't look pretty. DR15 is an NFL caliber player, and we're lucky to have him.
Is that it, Ron?
That's it. And shout out to Deshaun Singleton for the 2 picks. Thanks, boys.
Ooh, good shout out.
Baller, an elite defensive back core who I think they have a chance. I have to look at the numbers. Okay. They have a chance through 6 games to match the 09 secondary, which is considered one of the better secondaries. Dylan had a very disjointed day, and it wasn't. Some of it was the offensive line. Some of it was himself again. I don't think he can have that conversation without talking about both of them. But there were times where I don't think he saw some receivers. He was, at the end of the day, they won. And when he needed to make a play, he made a play. But my standards for him are a little bit higher this far into his career. And maybe we just chalk it up to he doesn't play well in the wind in his home stadium. It's a little bit uncomfortable.
Sure.
Because he's going to play more games in that stadium.
Yeah.
They won a game. He's 4-1 as the starting quarterback. I thought he put up a big day. He didn't necessarily. And I think some of it is on him, and hopefully he grows. But one thing is for sure, for everybody that calls and says Latif, Latif, Latif.
Sure.
Everybody understands that Matt Rule and Dylan Raiola are married, right?
Oh,
Yeah, they are. There is a marriage there that none of y'all are going to break up.
Well,
Okay. But also, it's good to have that marriage because he is the least of Nebraska's worries. And there are teams around the country that are in Nebraska's spot that are still worrying about the quarterback into the second month. That's not even a worry at Nebraska. I do think, though, this weekend, if his offensive line can give him just a little bit, he has a chance to rebound and the numbers look better. But I just think it was a very disjointed day.
I wasn't bothered by him holding on to the ball too long as much as others were. I was really bothered by him missing wide receivers. Like that was a massive problem last year in the second half of the season for him. I mean, I remember texting you a couple of times of like sending you pictures of like, hey, here's Thomas Fidone wide open, and he can just kind of check it down to him. And instead, he's either pulling down the ball too quickly or he's trying to force the ball downfield. Like I still think he is an NFL caliber quarterback, but I am worried in the fact that the steps forward that I thought that he took in the first 4 weeks, apparently the mistakes that he seems like he had cleaned up are still there. They're still lurking.
Yeah, if you go to the second half, so Nebraska's wide receivers were getting eaten up in the first half, and there wasn't a lot of separation. And I'm sure it'll come up this week. We probably need to have a Dane Key conversation. Dane Key, 2 targets, no receptions, was really absent for most of the day. Is in the second half, they started to run Lindenmeyer more as a blocker, so they would run counters, and whether they were dummy counters or real counters, that was a nice addition to the start of the second half. They also did something, and this goes back, I think Mike asked this, because he wanted to throw Dana in. I think he said Dana had a bad day. I think Dana in the second half went into his bag. And I still wonder about the offense. Is it Dana's offense, or is there still some Rule influence in this offense? Because it seems like they're trying to meld it.
Sure.
And I don't think they have an identity, and we're 5 games in. They have good players, but they don't have a thing that they can hang their hat on, and every week they know they can do well. But they were doing something in the second half, which Dana drew up. This is why you pay Mike Eckler. This is why you pay Dana Holgerson. But if you have these coaches, you also have to have the execution. He had some man beater screens that they started to run in the second half that they had not run, and that they were winning and guys were open. Like whether it be EJ across the middle, that if Dylan throws early, that's 6.
Yes.
Or there's a couple of crack screens. There was one to Emmett out of the backfield. There was one where Dylan threw it underhand.
Yes.
So it just they were off kilter, and most weeks Nebraska has been prone to get beat like that. They found a way to make a couple of plays, an incredible throw by Dylan, a catch by Barney. 2 plays later, Emmett's in the end zone and the game changes. But I don't know. I think the offense should be further along from top to bottom, running and throwing the football.
Do you think that in the first couple of weeks, they're like, all right, we're going to try and be 50-50. Like, we're going to try and run the ball as much as we pass the ball. And then they recognize that, hey, maybe we can't run the ball as good as we thought we could. So now, I mean, they had, I think it was like 28 passes to 18 runs. So then they go ahead and they go, okay, we're going to be more of a passing team now, even that the wind is bad. And then now what happened is that your passing game proved that it wasn't as great, and you necessarily can't hang your hat on it as much as you thought it could.
Yeah, they were just, they weren't consistent. Like when Nebraska was good Saturday on offense, they were really good. Look at the explosive plays. But when they were bad, they were really bad. And there was inconsistency. There was one play on a sack, and this wasn't Dylan's fault because they had a free rusher. Pritchett blocked down like it was a running play, and the outside end rush, the rush end for Michigan State, just ran right by him and right into Dylan's kitchen. Then there were other times where, Dylan, this isn't new, so this isn't like pick on Dylan hour. This isn't new. Dylan doesn't have a clock in his head, and I don't know about the peripheral vision. He does this at least once a game. He will back up into pressure. Like, instead of stepping up into the pocket, which early in the game, he was doing that. Later in the game, all of a sudden the footwork, because if Dylan sets and squares his shoulders, magic happens.
Sure.
But it didn't happen enough on Saturday. But he does this at least once a game where he'll back up into the pressure.
Mhm.
Like, let's say the tackle is getting beat, but he's
Okay.
able to kind of keep him wide.
Yeah.
And then Dylan will back up, and all of a sudden he goes down.
One of the things that I didn't like, Gary, that was happening during the game was that I felt like that he was allowing the sacks before to affect how he was playing, like to affect his future snaps. And so he gets sacked once, right? And then he pulled down the ball quicker. And then he gets
Mhm.
sacked again. And then he pulls down the ball even quicker. And then we were getting to the point where around the third quarter, you're kind of being like, dude, keep your eyes up.
Yeah.
Like this isn't you still have to make reads. You still have to stand in the pocket. You still have to be a quarterback. And I don't know. It's just it was the first time where because Dylan has made mistakes. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Like it's not like he's been perfect. And I haven't been all caught up in some of the mistakes that he made. I was very caught up in some of the mistakes that he was making because it was just him reverting back to what I thought that was fixed. And one of the plays that I got so annoyed about was in the first quarter, or sorry, I think it was the second quarter. It was the first drive in the second quarter where they threw that little screen to Emmett and they didn't get the third down. But before they threw the screen to Emmett, there was a slant. Like Dylan could see the slant from from Hunter, and Hunter was wide open. Like they weren't pressing up on Hunter. He just needs to throw him that ball. He gets a first down. Hunter gets 15 yards after that catch, and you continue that momentum from the first quarter, and he just didn't see him.
A couple of things here on Twitter. Andrew tweets at Gary Sharp 1620. Does Nebraska still have a team psychiatrist? Because I think Dylan needs one. Looks like he's seeing ghosts in the pocket and has reverted back to his old bad habits from last season. There were some things that he looked like he was starting his 6th game compared to a guy that is now in his 18th game that we've seen him do magic. But then when you go, man, Nebraska's in trouble, Dylan would find a way to make a play.
Yeah.
But I think we're further along where we can leave last year in the past. We'll see. Paul writes in, Mr. Beanery, by the way. Give them a shout out.
Okay.
Been to the Beanery?
I haven't been to the Beanery.
I'm trying to think of one that would be close to you. Well, no. You get we'll get you. Papillion, Gretna, or Ashland. One in Ashland's really cool, right on 6. Okay. Love Paul.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. hell yeah.
Coffee shop, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know. Maybe it was a refried bean place or something like that.
Yes. Nebraska, known for the refried beans. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Mhm.
I don't know. I was just throwing it out there.
He says, I think after watching the Frost debacle, this is on what Nebraska Ball Mike called in about. Rule made a mental note to keep his job and his alma mater separate. That way he can always go home and enjoy his college days. And I'll stand on the record. I think this is the last place that he coaches. If you turn the corner in Nebraska, why would you leave?
Well,
Okay. Why would you leave?
also too, I mean, he's got a pretty damn good setup with a ton of resources and an athletic department that completely
I'd rather
supports
coach
him.
at Nebraska than Penn State. I'm not being biased. It's just fact.
Really?
The support? Yeah, hell yes.
You're the only show in town?
Yeah.
Well, right now, I mean, the
Loyal
expectations
fans will
between
follow
the
you
two are
anywhere.
completely different. I mean, you come
Money?
right now. Rule wins 8 or 9 games, and it's like, oh my god, it's a success. You go to Penn State, even if they get rid of Franklin, it's going to be hey, you got to go and you got to win a national championship.
They
right
have
away.
a creamery in Lincoln. I mean, you don't need to go to Penn State.
Cody writes in. He goes, just got off the trail, got my 4 miles in, lives out a little bit west.
Nice.
Cop sirens the entire time I was out there. Also saw about 20 people, 1 umbrella, 6 hoodies, 4 raincoats, 9 ponchos. First of all, good on Cody for running and keeping track of all
At
of this.
night, too.
Yeah, because the sun's not even up.
Yeah.
I don't miss running. I don't miss running at all.
I don't either.
I like
I
scare.
know that's
stepping.
going to shock a lot of people.
Well, you're a walker. You walk.
Yeah,
on the trails.
I do walk. I do about 13,000 steps a day, but none of them
yes.
are running. But I see all the
But
people that
still.
were running. I actually Saturday morning. I don't know where the young ladies were from. They are from they're either high school or college, and they're cross country runners.
Yeah.
because there was like 8 of them.
Mhm.
They look kind of college age. I don't know if it's College St. Mary, but they were out running on the trail, and I'm like, you know what? That just isn't for me. I know you're going to get there faster than me, but I like my hour and a half trail there.
Hey, 13,000
It's not a
steps
race.
is nothing
What
to
are we racing?
sneeze about.
Exactly.
No, I do my hot guy walk on the stair stepper, and then I do my I follow these fitness women, and they got great stair stepper routines. So I do the stair, 10 on, 15 off, this, that, you change the levels, the amount of minutes.
He
you
would
go.
have loved morning ESPN when we were younger.
it's great. I mean, I slimmed down a little bit, and then I started doing this job and working out less, and so I gotta get back.
Whoa, it's an indictment
telling-
on the zone.
No. It's an indictment on my inability to manage my time now that I'm finally an adult with like a full-time job. As your fitness levels have gone up since we've started working together, my fitness levels have decreased a similar amount.
To be fair, I used to run a lot more before we moved here, so
Well, it's not that Omaha's like a bad place to run or anything
No,
like that.
Really
I'm
good
not-
place to run.
I'm not
Actually, yeah.
disparaging the city.
Shout
got
out
a
to
lot-
Josh who tried to help me out a
It's
lot.
more
lot
so
of
me
trails.
just being lazy.
Makes sense. All right. Evan Bland's coming up a little bit later.
Lazy in fitness, not lazy in work.
We're just glad it's a Monday and you're here.
Yes. Well, here on
Remember that time, Jimmy, about 2 weeks ago?
Remember it well.
It was
Yeah.
actually around this time that I
Yeah,
walked in.
That we were like, okay, just bailed on us when we
Yeah.
moved back to Chicago.
We adjusted quickly. We were like, all right, throw out his plays, and we changed the offense on the fly.
It happened.
Got to be versatile.
It did
It
happen.
happened.
I'm not denying that it didn't happen. It happened.
It happened.
It did.
All right, we're back with more
What's-
Gary and Matt after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back in, Gary and Matt. Glad to have you in on a Monday morning, a victory on Monday. Hope everybody's team did well. You're a winner over the weekend. You were not Mark Sanchez or Theo Vaughn, who had bad weekends. The Mark Sanchez thing is
It gets
wild to
weirder.
me. Yeah, now the
Crazy.
photos are out. No, national people aren't covering this. It's all really the Indianapolis Fox affiliate.
I've seen more covering on Twitter and like
Yeah.
just the tweets of like
Reddit.
the charges and the affidavits and like in the official like documents and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like I haven't seen like a CBS, like to your credit, like a CBS.
Yeah, it's
story or
local.
ESPN or anything
Local
like that.
journalism matters.
Yes.
I mean, what, in a couple of weeks, we'll wake up on a Monday morning and you won't be able to get the Journal Star or the World Herald. They're not going to print on Mondays. But local
Whoa.
journalism matters. And the Mark Sanchez thing is really odd. Just the photos are now out of the person that he attacked.
my God.
So it's not good. Theo Vaughn had a terrible day, and who could have seen that coming on game day?
I had no idea who that was till last week.
You didn't know who
Yeah.
Theo Vaughn was?
No. I know who Lindsey Vaughn was.
Well, Jenna Sims knows,
That was
or Jess
weird.
Sims, excuse
oh,
me.
yes. I
And
see that.
that was embarrassing.
That's the second time that's happened to him on a platform like that because
Yeah.
he tried doing that on Barstool Sports. You know, Brianna Chicken Fry? You know,
Yeah,
Brianna
yeah,
Chicken
yeah.
Fry? He tried doing the same thing with her on like a podcast, and she was like, "You are like a weirdo. Like, no, like I don't.
He
want
might have
anything to
been
do with you."
the worst ever.
He was
picker.
it was terrible. I had to
Yeah.
turn it off.
Mhm.
I only really watch game day for the picks. Like I don't really watch a whole lot before that, and then I put it on at like 10:40, and then I like watch the guest picker. 'Cause
And there's
I enjoy it.
nobody from
He
Alabama.
was
that
awful.
could-
He was not prepared at all. He was giving the wrong picks. He was talking about the wrong games.
Yeah.
He was like, it was ridiculous. And then he like was trying to be funny, and it just was not hitting. And then also too,
It was a predictable disaster.
you should never
And I
have.
listened to his podcast. So I
You-
was like, I don't know. He's been on there before, but
The guest picker should never pick against like the team, the campus that they're on. You know what I'm
Why?
saying? I think like that's
most of the
fun
time
part
there's a
it.
connection to that campus, so they're not
Exactly.
going to.
Exactly. So you bring on the guest picker that has a connection with the campus, and then they're wearing their jersey, and then they say like a really cool thing, and then they pick their team, and then the whole crowd goes wild. He picked Vandy.
Where is game day for this incredible playoff elimination weekend in college football, where the Big Ten and the SEC will remind everybody that they are the top dogs?
My guess is OU Texas.
Oh, that's
Although maybe
No,
not
no,
as
no,
much
'cause
now
so-
because
so Big Noon, which they have a Portnoy problem.
Yeah, they do. It's
They are in
hard.
Champaign. Where is game day? Is game day going to Eugene?
Eugene.
Yeah.
Okay,
Indiana,
all right.
Oregon, which
Good for them.
Oregon, 10-point favorite. Week 7 is a really, really good slate. This is playoff elimination because you have those two games in the Big Ten,
Mhm.
and then Michigan, USC are playing as well. And then you got, of course, the state fair game. Texas is a 3-point favorite against Oklahoma. And then you have what Florida is at Texas A&M.
That's a big game.
Florida shouldn't wait. Fired Billy Napier now.
Why you don't think that he should have the opportunity to play his way out of potentially
No,
being fired
not
again?
2 times in a row. I think your mind is already made up. Hey, nice win against Texas, but Texas is who Texas is.
Well,
But Billy Napier is not going to be able to save his job if you have a smart athletic director and just go, oh, phew, because you're going to be back in this position again next year.
so I think that's this year, after you almost lose your job the year before, the next year should be a, hey, right off the gate, like you're ranked, like you're competitive. Hey, we took strides. Like there should be he didn't carry any of the momentum that they created at the end of last season into this season at all. He's just put himself in the same exact situation.
Nice win. Florida will probably rattle off some more wins. They'll get to a bowl game, but I think they should make a change at Florida. I mean, if you're already going to decide to fire somebody, why not fire somebody? You know,
No.
instead of going, well, you know what? You know what? Let's don't live in the moment. Think about the big picture. That's how I look at life.
I just think it's the definition of
Uh-huh,
craziness is just doing the same thing over and over again. Than just
That's called
expect-
insanity.
insanity.
Yeah.
I said craziness.
Yeah.
I mean tomato.
It's spelled different.
Well, not tomato.
And tomatoes are fruit.
Chris writes in
It is.
on the YouTube chat. He says, will Nebraska play another ranked team this year? Good question.
Oh God.
USC loses back-to-back games. Remember, they got Michigan at the Coliseum, and then they go and play the team that's running it up on everybody in Notre Dame, because Notre Dame's 10-2. They're in the playoff.
Yeah.
Then USC would come to Lincoln off a bye week with a lot of heat on Lincoln Riley and 3 straight losses because the last time they played was in Champaign.
Well,
So they would come to Lincoln with 3 straight losses. That's why November gets really kind of interesting. If Nebraska just kind of hangs around and they may not play a ranked team, you'd have USC possibly on a 3-game losing streak. You have UCLA, which, do we all of a sudden think they're going to turn their season around, or was this just one-off?
no.
Then you have Penn State, who you know what the vibe could be if they have 3 losses, and then Iowa coming in here. I mean, November all of a sudden changes. It's the week-to-week thing that makes college football so great. Is how your mood changes, because we're in a 80% happy, 20% geez mood. Next week could be different.
Well, I think it'd be really funny if Nebraska was the straw that broke the camel's back on multiple coaches being fired. I mean, if Nebraska ends up beating USC at home, like that could just be it for Lincoln Riley. Like that is signed, sealed, delivered. He's gone. And then if they go on the road and they beat Penn State, like what you said earlier in the show, the reason why you never get rid of James Franklin is because, all right, that when he is a favorite, he's going to come in and he's going to stomp whoever's in front of him. As soon as you lose that, you lose like any sort of value of having him around. So I still think Penn State's very talented, and I still think that's going to be an incredible uphill battle. But
They have a 42.
it's crazy.
Their defense,
Well,
their defense fell apart, and then they have this guy in the backfield. I mean, hey, I stayed in a Holiday Inn about 6 years ago, so take it for what it's worth. I'm a bigger YPA guy than I am completion percentage. I think batting average is. If you have a running back in the backfield that averages about 7 yards a carry, how come you don't run him at Penn State? I'll hang up and listen.
Do you
They've got a Drew Aller problem. I said that last Monday. I'll say it again this Monday.
Well, I mean, it probably might have been they were trying to get him going and like have him some momentum, because like it is now an issue with Drew Aller that it is a fact when they play the best competition that he just plays his worst football. And so maybe they were throwing, but I hated James Franklin's press conference after that loss. I mean, after the loss, he goes, "We were injured. We got hurt in the Oregon game. We got hurt in practice. Oh, the travel affected us." Like making all these different excuses. Man, you just got out coached.
Gave up 42 on defense. Drunk Monk says, "How does Makai Nelson have a great run?" I think it was 11 yards. Ooh, running back 2, still a question. But Mosey played more in the backfield than Nelson did. Quick to the hole, got north-south, and then didn't get another carry the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Why do the running backs dance and not hit the hole?
Well, that was more so Mosey. I mean, it is still after 4 weeks very clear that he is just not comfortable playing the running back position. Gary, he literally just full on stopped his feet at the line of scrimmage, just stopped moving. And then like dovetailed down and then like took a loss. Like I for the life of me, I just did not you just got to run, man. Just keep running.
Good chat going on YouTube. Cap says, Jesus Christ is king.
And he could hit a curveball.
Or a splitter. Get him on the Yankees.
He could. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We should probably talk some offensive line, right?
I mean,
should we talk about your favorite?
It is Nebraska.
How much do you spend on that subscription for PFF?
I spent $110 at the beginning of the season. So
You couldn't get that reimbursed?
no, I can't get anything reimbursed. It's fine. I pay for it. We use it for the show. It's incredibly useful. We can talk about average depth of target. Dylan's was 3.4.
Those numbers.
His time to target, 2.89 seconds.
Do people think PFF is full of crap?
After seeing what some of the grades were for the tackles and particularly, yeah. I mean, but
don't just focus on offense. Look at the grades for defensive guys that our eyeballs said they played well and usually were in the right position.
yeah. Well, I don't really, when you and I talk about PFF, how often do I go, oh, he has a 76.3 grade? We talk about the other little good statistics.
I will
they
tell
give
you what
us.
the most startling thing to me about PFF was when I looked at Nebraska's grades yesterday morning.
Okay.
It's going to be a good day. See, you know what? You know what makes life so much better around here?
Winning.
Winning is good. But Nebraska football wakes up on the 6th of October. Penalties turnovers, special teams are not a discussion. And you go, oh, they're actually a net positive. How nice is that? Let's celebrate the little things in life. Let's go.
Who would have thought that all the little things that a lot of very smart football people had been telling Nebraska football was a problem for years? Who would have thought that when they actually solve them, they start winning games? Isn't that crazy?
And you know what? Nebraska just beat a team that played like them. Michigan State pulled a Nebraska in Lincoln.
a choke.
Special teams
collapse?
mistakes, poor coaching decisions. Had a lead, had the momentum.
2 terrible turnovers. Terrible interceptions.
It's Gary and Matt. Jimmy on 1620 The Zone. Hey, good morning, New York sports fans. Your two NFL teams are combined 1-9, and the Yankees are in a 2-0 hole with Aaron Judge turning 34 in April. Good morning. Welcome if you're streaming out there. If you are on 1620thezone.com, go to the website. There's a lot of goodies up there. You can see the four-quarter pick'em, and also you can
Put it on the board, yes.
learn more about the Adam Sandler, You're My Best Friend tour that is going to be here in Omaha 2 weeks from tomorrow. You can listen all week to John and Josh on a show that they've just started called Unsportsmanlike Conduct from 2 to 6 on this very fine radio station. More details, 1620thezone.com.
Best of luck to them on the new show. I hope it does well.
Yeah, a little upstart, taking a risk. Good for those
Yeah,
guys.
I bet that would sound great on FM.
Why can't we? We had a little oopsie on FM during BROR.
Oh. I was listening on the keg driving back from Lincoln. It sounded great.
Oh, did you hear
Clear.
the
The F-bomb?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's why I texted you. I said, more cussing, please.
yeah. You're trying to get me fired.
Did you drop one?
It's not
there?
you.
I didn't.
You're not
drop it.
cussing. It was listeners that were dropping
Oh.
the F-bomb. See what happens when you beat Michigan State like that? And maybe if you had money on the game, what line you picked,
I know.
you got a little upset at the end of the game.
It was actually great in the chat. There are some people who are like, "Screw it!" They're like, "I'm so mad they didn't cover." And then there are other people who are like, "You're an idiot. You should have bet it earlier."
Where's
12 and a
Michigan?
half.
Where's Michigan State guy? We're now counting. It's 2 days.
He
2
can never
days.
call back again. By the way, in my opinion.
Oh, he will. He will.
Well,
He actually calls in to talk about Nebraska.
Oh, okay.
But on Big Red Reaction, it's always Michigan State. He's called this show before.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I won't out him. Couple of things here. Well, Penn State football had a bad weekend. Why don't we just put it all together? Penn State athletics had a bad weekend. You know, sometimes you welcome Nebraska into Rec Hall, and you're playing the number one team in the country. The place is packed. It's a whiteout. By the way, best female college sports brand going. They're making money for so many people. They walk into Rutgers, and they put 8,000 in the place, okay? That's the power of Nebraska volleyball. But people forget on Friday night, Penn State volleyball was up 2-0 in the first set. They were up 2-0. They lost 25-6. 25-6. 25-6. That's Penn State. They won the national title last year. And all of a sudden it became Rec Hall. But today will be the first release of the RPI for volleyball.
Oh, really?
I don't think Nebraska will be number one.
You think Texas will be?
Texas, because of their wins,
Yeah.
they're on Texas. I think Nebraska's 14-0.
Yes.
Texas is 12-0, and their schedule they played a tougher schedule of the wins over ranked teams. I'm curious to see where Creighton is, who has
Oh, yeah. and the
haven't lost
RPI.
since they lost to Nebraska a couple of weeks ago, and they're rolling through the Big East. I bet because of their strength of schedule and the fact that they're playing better, I bet Creighton is probably top 12 RPI.
Top 12. That'd be really, really good for them. I was listening to Lincoln Arneal, who does,
Lincoln and Jeff Sheldon.
yes, who do volleyball skate. It's an incredible pod. And they were going through like, is this the least amount of points Penn State has ever scored in like the rally era? And they literally couldn't find a time that they had. I think it was in 2011. There was a set where they scored 8 points, but they could not find a time where Penn State had scored less than 8 points until that first set against Nebraska. Just domination. Like Nebraska was dominant against Stanford, and people were like, "You remember what? Weren't you at that game? Were you?"
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember you being like, I like, they're incredible. It looks like one of the best teams ever. And then they kind of like, when they played Kentucky, they came down to earth a little bit. Like they still won. They were still winning, games, but it was just like they didn't look as dominant. Man, it was insane how good they look. Like when they turn on the switch and they play their best volleyball, there's not a team that I can think of in the Big Ten that could beat them. Now, I haven't seen Texas play. So
Texas is really good. So we
Yeah.
could be motoring towards a Texas-Nebraska national championship in Kansas City. And before we get there, did you guys see the John at the Bob on the Terry?
What?
Nebraska volleyball now has the state outline on the Terraflex floor at the John at the Bob on the Terry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good. What do you like more, the skinny end or the state outline? I feel like we're veering more towards you liking the state outline more.
But what's the subject?
No, I think I can have both. I think I can have both. The skinny end and the state outline I'll take. And to get rid of the Kerr and Herbie. That thing is god awful.
You're not going to get rid of the current Herb.
Hey, I've come around on the Killigan song.
Whoa, I
I
don't
think
even know
it
who
is-
you are
That's,
anymore.
No, no,
that's a big development.
Whoa.
I think I'm good on the Killigan song. I kind of like it. It's got a little beat to it. I'm in it.
How did
Damn, that's going to
they-
be top
they-
topic at home when I get home.
they
Guess
have-
what Gary said?
They have to get rid of the current Herbie. The current Herbie outfit is brutal.
Time-
It looks so bad. It
Oh,
was
I know.
it was Dancing with the Scarlets during one of the timeouts, and they've done a disservice to the mascot with that outfit.
timeout?
There you go. There's my weekly rant.
Yeah, Matt needs a full.
Timeout. We're gonna take a
Eric
full,
Spolstra.
full timeout here. We can't just skate over this. That you've come around on the Killigan song.
Yeah, I kind of
'Cause-
like it. I
'cause-
actually listened to it a couple times in the off season on YouTube.
Just when I
What?
think I've gotten to know
Yeah.
you, I realize I know nothing.
Well, it didn't change, Gary.
No, but you know what? I've
Like the
given it a-
lyrics.
I've given
they
it a
didn't did they re-record it?
no. Just I had
An epiphany?
I think because I've always attached it with
Losing?
that thing coming out and shooting T-shirts into the crowd.
That thing. You mean the
It's awful.
mascot in
It's
which
awful.
a human
It's
is
an
in?
embarrassment. It's an embarrassment. The thing is dumpy, and it's got like a weird
I
face, and
don't
the
know
eyes
why
are
you're
all
so-
weird.
It's not that bad.
The person inside of the costume does a really good job,
Okay.
and I feel bad for him because they got to wear that thing. They should just go costumeless and still perform like they are because I think they're really good.
Well, how
But
would
they got to wear that
You
costume.
know what? How would this fan base feel if Dannon goes, "All right, guys, we want to be more like Texas A&M. We're going to go with a human mascot. We're
No.
not going to do the. We're
Hey.
not going to do the costume anymore. We're going to go more Notre Dame. We're going to go leprechaun."
Nebraska might win more football games. Bill Byrne did it in 95. People pushed back and it came back for that Michigan State game in 95, but 95 season turned out pretty well.
It was okay.
I don't know. History could repeat itself 30 years later. I don't know. I just okay. On to something different.
Were you humming the Killigan song in the press box?
This is what I pictured. now.
Kind of like it.
Bobbing his head.
I kind of like
the
it.
sun is bright and the
Yeah.
fields are right.
Like at the
Caleb Turney.
the party at the dock there at Embassy Suites, they were playing that when I was walking to the game.
Yeah, that song should get more run if they're going to play it at the game
Yeah.
the way that it does. Like it should be a known. I'm not saying it should be jump around. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it should be jump around or any of that stuff.
Good save.
But it should be like if I play the song, there should be some niche college football fans who know, like, oh yeah, that's the Nebraska fight song. In my opinion, if we're going to play it in every
Alright.
game.
Come a running, y'all. Let's have a discussion. Yeah,
I
Bernie.
can't believe this.
Bernie says he's come around on the song.
How do people come around on the song? The song hasn't changed.
The Huskers are 4-1.
I don't know. There's people can change. People can change.
People can change.
You know what? Nebraska football can change because things like Saturday, okay, when things are going well or not well, and then all of a sudden they switch, and all of a sudden you don't have the football for a good like Nebraska didn't have the football when it was 10-7 in the UCLA Penn State game, and by the time they got it back, it was already 24-7. And you know what? Then there's a train wreck going on in the third quarter, and you're like, I've seen this before. I've seen this. The trains are coming, but then you know what? Don't you hear that noise? It was like a thunder in the sky. As Dylan Raiola on 3rd down and 10 found Ja'Cory Barney downfield, and it was rolling along, and all of a sudden you heard a good old song because it was first down Nebraska. And the Sons of Nebraska rose up, and a guy from Minneapolis said, give me the ball. 23 yards later, he's in the end zone, and now it's coming to here. You're rising with a cheer. They will sweep the foes away. Eckler says, let's kick this ball into the air and let it screw with Michigan State. And you know what? We're going to be bound to win, Rule. And he said, Rule says back at Eckler, we're going to win today. And so in the days of old, Nebraska finds a way to win football games. Where in the days in the past, on your thing, if they could change or not, they lose games like that. So you know what? Johnny Bender, bold, he would just take the ball in his hand. But in this case, it's Dylan Raiola. And with Benedict right in front of him, Makai Nelson makes the recovery. And then they would set sail for the land where Cunanan would kick a field goal. And then rest was history. Okay.
Was that a spoken word? That was incredible. That was poetry.
Thank
Can
you.
Can we cut that?
It'll be on the best of it.
Yeah,
It'll be on
thank
the
you.
video.
First off,
Hey.
I think you make your best points when you look like a quarterback trying to hike the ball before a delay of game. Jimmy, when he goes, when Gary goes like, you're trying to get it. Sit out. You make your best points when you look like you're trying to do a hard count.
I couldn't be the quarterback in Nebraska because I don't run that fast coming out of the tunnel walk.
No, I think that
Called a
actually
walk.
your speed and the Nebraska football quarterback speed might actually be similar.
You said it. I didn't.
He's
I don't
slow.
agree with that.
He's slow unless he's running out of the tunnel
Well.
walk because then he's 20 yards ahead of everybody.
Well,
so you can see
though
him.
we go through many battles, our colors are still as seen. Nebraska's 4-1. And so in contest and in victory, we will wave them for the team. And we'll always stir a Cornhusker, the Scarlet and the Cream. But would you pick the Scarlet and the Cream quarterback in this discussion? Dave, text in, ask a good question. Hey, we're not talking about turnovers, penalties, or special teams. Life is really, really good right now.
Yeah. Finally.
Okay.
Took us years.
Okay.
Took way too long.
Mike Eckler, love you. By the way, not only a great hire, and Rule should get all the credit for coming around on hiring Eckler.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Eckler's a really, really good dude. Did you see what he did this weekend?
I saw what a great honor.
So if anybody's gotten a chance to meet him when he was here before, we've already forgotten that he played at Kansas State. I mean, some people make mistakes in life. He made a mistake to play football at Kansas State, but he is a Nebraskan. So the Nebraska State Patrol lost a member of their force this past spring, and he honored them by wearing a badge on his visor. I mean, he's a
great dude.
He's one of those dudes on that staff you'd sit down and have a beer with, and they would close down the bar, and Eck would say, "Hey, can we just stick around a little bit longer?" And the bar owner would say, "Hey, you guys know how to close up." And I mean, he's just that kind of guy. But
that's awesome.
We don't worry about that. We don't worry about special teams.
No.
It's a net positive. They're 17th in FPI. They were like 127th this time last year.
They were consistently like the worst special teams unit the first 2 years of Matt Rule coaching at Nebraska.
So here is the question. It's about Dylan.
Okay.
Prepare yourself.
All right.
Would you take, or no, this is would you want? I guess take and want are the same thing, right?
You're different, but
okay.
a little different. Just like tomato and tomato.
Dylan, Legway, or Arch?
Oh, God. Fernando Mendoza.
I don't believe that was one of the three, but
I would take.
Sorry, Dave.
I would take Dylan. I would take Dylan. I think Dylan. I just see how Arch throws the football, and I'm like, is he hurt? Does he have a shoulder problem? Does he have a shoulder issue? Like he doesn't have a proper throwing motion.
I think it's your preference on the kind of quarterback and the offense you run, but they are not all three created equal.
No.
So Arch is not a pocket passer, and they're trying to make him a pocket passer in Austin. Legway is inconsistent and can do a little of both. Legway and Childs are similar.
Ooh.
Dylan is.
I like that comparison.
Dylan is a pocket passer, but doesn't want to be labeled as a pocket passer, but doesn't have the other element to.
No, God, no.
So he's kind of in between.
I would.
But in this case, if we're just using these three right now this season as it is, I'm taking the guy that's wearing 15.
Me too.
Because gets to hear the Killigan song at home between the first and second quarter. Has to get out of the way is that thing. You know what they would have been better? Andrew Whitworth and Ryan Fitzpatrick were at the game.
Yeah.
Because they're traveling across the country on the Amazon bus.
Okay.
So they were at the game and they were filming.
I was going to ask.
They should have had those guys shooting the T-shirts.
Oh,
that would have been cool.
Yeah. You know what else they
would
did?
have won by 50.
You know what else? And he's from here. He went to school here in Omaha. Adam Devine.
Yeah.
That was cool.
That was dope.
Yeah.
What was he churning?
Oh, it's their thing they do with the siren.
Is that a new thing?
They do it periodically.
Yeah.
But if they have a celebrity.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's a celebrity.
It's not like Washington.
I think they did
celebrity siren.
I think they do it the Michigan game with Bud. I don't know. They pull it out to midfield and they get out. Like when they don't have a light show.
Okay, they use the siren.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I made people laugh in the press box
Daytime.
because as we went to the fourth quarter, I go, start the light show, and this guy from Michigan State was like,
well, yeah, because the first time I ever sat in the press box, you were there, and I was like, there's no cheering in the press box, but I go, apparently there are quips allowed.
Oh, we got lots of quips.
There were so many quips going on in that
Laughs
game.
are good though.
Yeah.
And then you found out I was from Chicago, and then like you started licking your lips, and you were like, I'm gonna grill this kid.
And then you didn't know anything about the Big 12.
Yeah, but now I'm the Big 12 stan. Me and Austin
true.
Jacobson, man, we were texting over the weekend about the Big 12 and how awesome it was. That Kansas State Baylor game, which is But I have watched.
You have an open invite to come with me.
I have watched every single Baylor Bears football game this year. Okay, they are an electric.
Maybe introduce yourself to Texas Tech.
They are an electric watch. No, they're too good. Texas Tech is too good at football for me to watch. Baylor is erratic. They're crazy.
They might have the best odds to go 12-0 this year.
Yeah,
I think so. I mean, they're like you say, and you're right. It is in terms of competition, the tiny baby conference in terms of, the SEC and the Big Ten. But in terms of like stupidness and competitiveness and how much fun it is to watch those games, Big 12, awesome.
By the way, as we
Kleiman,
finish this hour, the question has always been asked, Who will be this year's Indiana or Arizona State? What if Cincinnati is this year's Arizona State? And what if Virginia is this year's Indiana?
You know,
Talk amongst yourselves in the chat room.
I thought Virginia was going to have a letdown game against Louisville after coming off that emotional win. What an overtime victory. I mean, just gutsy.
Alan gives you some love.
Oh, cool.
I like Alan. Said, shout out to you. Called the game flow last week and getting something right finally. He said there would be a point in the third where we felt like we were going to lose and find a way to win 100%. We lose that last year.
Did say that. Now, I love the jab in there. Finally, he got something right. Somebody was making fun of me about my 4-quarter pick'em and the fact that I went 4-6 last week. They were like,
That is bad.
They were tweeting at me. Hey,
A lot of us don't go 4 and
Kansas City
6.
wins tonight. I go 9-1. So how about?
Ooh.
And by the way, mixed sports book, historic weekend.
Yeah. I heard you bragging on Big Red Overreaction about 16.5 from Mississippi State.
No. So the two bets that I talked about over the air were the only two bets that lost.
Okay. Well, maybe you ought to talk about bets that win.
Alex Pereira, Indianapolis.
Yeah, you didn't
Colts,
talk about those.
Minnesota
Yeah,
Vikings.
we don't know. You didn't talk about those. You showed everybody your Vanderbilt ticket, and you were so
I
excited
was so
about
excited about it.
it. Yeah.
You texted me immediately afterward, and I appreciated your text. You're trying to warm my cockles.
Evan Bland from the World Herald's going to join us in about 30 minutes on this fine program. Gary and Matt on 1620 The Zone.
What is going on? Hey, hey man, you've lost a lot of weight. You look great. I don't really see you stand up and do active activities like that. That was impressive.
Not even after the Chiefs won the Super Bowl.
Hey, the Athletes Unlimited Pro Volleyball Championship is coming to Omaha October 3rd through the 13th at the Liberty First Credit Union Arena. 1620 The Zone has your chance to get into the games 9 and 10 on October 12th for free at 1620thezone.com now to get registered to win 4 tickets. Who's your favorite horseman? Someone was asking in the chat, is that a V on your hat this morning?
Me too.
6'7". Kids all say 6'7".
Yeah,
They throw it at me. I throw it right back. By the way, throwing it back, shout out. So you did the Millard South Papillion La Vista game.
I did.
They won 58-3. I'm in search of a close game. Hopefully Friday night we get it.
Elkhorn South.
Elkhorn South, Omaha West Side will be the Cox game of the week. Looking forward to that showdown out in Elkhorn. But, we had 63-0, 65-0, 61-0, 62-7, 58-3 in Class A. Here's the thing that's a little bit frustrating, and anybody you talk to about high school football in this town when it comes to Class A, people are people are like, well, why are they going to have the state tournament? Why should they even have a game?
Mm-hmm.
Millard South is so dominant. There are guys that are having record seasons we don't even talk about. And it's unfortunate because of Jet. And I like Jet a lot. Is in the city of Omaha, we have a quarterback that's going to Alabama, not as a walk-on, okay, like a real scholarship, a committable offer, who is a record-setting quarterback that is having an unbelievable year, that if he was at any other school, we would talk more about, or the vibe would be different.
Sure.
So shout out to Jet Tomala, who is having an incredible season. But he's going to Alabama. But I found a team that we need to talk more about.
Okay.
You had him the week before.
I did.
So we had prep in Central the other night. Burke Stadium. What they have done there, wow, great. Just stunning.
Mm-hmm.
May have way too many water fountains, though.
No such thing.
They have about 20 water fountains.
That's fine. That's great. We need water fountains.
What happens if COVID comes back? Then you got to
drinking
cover 'em
fountains,
up.
not like Kaufman.
Well, yeah. If COVID comes back, we cover everything up. Everything goes to crap if COVID comes back.
I think we handle COVID differently, if it comes back. Well, I think COVID is still here.
Well, yeah, I think that it's just it's not as
okay.
I don't know.
But,
I'm not a health expert.
So
I just know that we're not wearing masks and we're not staying 6 feet apart, and
But Burke, what they did to the press box, the whole concession stands, all of that stuff, it looks awesome. The scoreboard is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first time in there to do a game. I've seen it, but not to do a game, be in the press box stuff. So great place. So good for everybody that was involved, from Burke to OPS and in between. But they have a lot of water fountains, like on the home sidelines. Like they have a lot of water fountains, more water fountains than I've ever seen in my life. Lined up, boom, 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 boom.
Such an astute observation.
Well, you can't miss them. You walk by and you're like, water fountain, water fountain, water fountain, water fountain.
When I go to Burke now, all I'm going to be thinking about is the water fountains.
You're going to look at them and you're going to go, that's a lot of water.
Did you drink out of them? Are they
Nope.
good water fountains?
I did not attempt. I did not have a hankering to get something out of the cold water spigot.
When was the last time you drank out of a bubbler?
It's probably been a while. Yeah, because you don't see them very often.
No, you don't.
They're not as extinct as payphones, which we are down to 81 in the state of Nebraska.
How do you know that?
I know everything.
You know a lot. I mean, you don't know everything, but you know a lot.
It's going to be on my epitaph.
Epitaph.
Yeah.
What is that?
Look
You
it
knew
up.
everything.
Look it up.
Okay.
But so we had Prep in Central, and Prep jumped out to a 31-0 lead on Central, and they held them to 48 yards in the first half.
Jeez.
Brian Monson, Coach Moose.
Yes.
His defense, they're good. They are good. And you know what? So they have this is the weird part of me. They have some kids that I saw as 7th and 8th graders
Okay.
that were really, really good that went to prep and now we're all playing together.
Yeah.
Man, Tim Yonk and his staff, because Tim Williams, who he added from Papilla Vista, Mike Mancuso,
Mhm.
they've got a really good staff. AJ Rollins and Titus Adams also are on that staff. It's just a really, really good staff. And Tim's a really, really good guy. And then, oh, by the way, he's the head coach at Prep. But I'm, and they went through back-to-back 4 and 6 seasons. And these guys hung together. They maybe don't have a bunch of stars, but they play well together. And they're 6-0. But defensively, they're well coached. They tackle well.
Yes.
They got a lot of speed. They got playmakers that probably their name should be out there a little bit more. But they were running an offense against Central that I was thinking afterwards when I was driving home. Okay, if you're going to play Millard South and you got to slow the game down, and that might not be easy. I mean, Millard South can fall out of bed and they're up 21-0. But they were running Angelo Walker, and they ran him out of the Wildcat. And I don't know if you saw this the week before. So Tim Williams, he ran in your game the Statue of Liberty play.
Yes.
Which, he's back coaching against his former school. He also, his last win at Papillion Vista, they beat Central in the playoffs last year. So he had a good game plan against Central. And I'm glad Tim stayed in coaching, because I didn't know after he left Papillion Vista if he's going to stay in coaching, but Tim Yonk's known him for a long time, hired him. They've got a really, really tight, good staff at Prep.
That's awesome.
I mean, Prep football right now is in a good spot. They got Westside in 2 weeks. But they were running Angelo out of the Wildcat. So what do you think the Wildcat would look like with him?
Probably him, and then probably 2 more backs like next to him, like a 3-back backfield. No,
7 across the front, 3 more blockers, and then Angelo is in the back.
Really?
Yep. And they ran that for a good portion of this first half. And Central couldn't stop it. I don't know how you would stop it.
Sure. Did they not? What was he actually? I thought played a pretty good game. Lammers, Jack Lammers. Could they not?
Yeah.
They didn't use him a ton in the game. And then
now in the second half they went back to a normal offense.
Yeah.
But in the first half they're having so much success they just kept running it over and over.
I think with like Angelo Walker, with how he was running against Papillion, hard runner, right? Like he wasn't necessarily breaking off massive runs, but he was punishing guys. It was perfect. It was a perfect complementary offensive style for how their defense is, right? Like hold the ball long, time of possession, punish the other team, wear them down. And then I don't know how he played in your game, but I thought the linebackers for Creighton Prep, they stood out to me.
Aaron Shaw is a dude.
Well, I thought Michael Navarro was really, really good against Papillion.
They got a really, really nice team. Also a shout out, Papio South went on the road and won out in Kearney. Tim's team is 5-1. And I think they play Elkhorn South at the end of the regular season. Okay. So maybe my search for close games, I will be able to find a couple of close games.
Man, you were talking about Jet real quick. I just wanted to get this out there. He made 2 plays. I don't know if you saw them, but he made.
Is the one where he's running and he's next to the Papillion Vista sideline.
Yeah.
And he throws from the right boundary all the way across to the left corner of the end zone.
One of the craziest throws I've seen. And then he made another play, which I don't know if this went viral. Papillion La Vista it was hard for them to get in the backfield. Like they were putting some pressure on Jet, but they were never getting to him. They finally got to him. They finally have him wrapped up in the red zone. He literally shoved 2 different dudes off of him, scrambled, then juked out 2 guys when he passed the line of scrimmage and scored a touchdown.
Yeah. And Jackson's having a year, quietly having like a monster statistical year.
Yeah.
And headed to Iowa State.
And then Isaac Jensen is just a dog.
I saw Missouri was there.
Oh,
Missouri coaches were there. On a different note from the game that we did on TV, shout out BJ Newsom, quarterback for Central. So he's one of the rare, he might be the only 4-year starter at quarterback at Central. He's thrown for over 4,000 yards. Well, he takes a beating and he hangs in there, man. He takes some shots and he pops right back up. Also, it was of the games in the last 2 years that I've done with Central, it might be the best that Pittman's played. So he got hurt it looked like he tweaked his groin at the end of the second quarter.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know if he was going to play anymore. He came back right away, started the third quarter. And I think he gets bored because nobody throws his way.
Yeah.
And Prep did a great job especially on Grigsby, who I think is the most dynamic offensive player. They didn't like the wide receivers didn't have a very good day. But I saw a couple of plays because there's plays that you don't notice him and you're like, but he made a couple of plays where I'm like, that's what a 5-star safety in high school does in terms of coming up and supporting the run. Haney was okay.
Okay.
I know Nebraska's high on him. Trey Taylor really wants him in the class of 27. He's got the offer from Nebraska. He ran hard, but I don't know.
You're not blown away.
I liked him as a freshman.
Yeah.
Last year he struggled a little bit. He hasn't flashed a lot this year, but again, Prep was really, really good defensively the other night. Speaking of quarterbacks, and one that's headed here in 27, you have to tell me their team they played.
Yeah.
Trey Taylor had a hell of a night. If you did not see his stat line on Friday night, 525 yards passing, 5 touchdowns, 66 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns. Wasn't that a 55-54 game?
55-54
and the
game.
guy that he was going against is also like a 4-star quarterback.
The guy that he's going against, I don't know his name.
Abram?
Something like that. He's the number 1 quarterback in Illinois. So it was a number 1 versus number 2 duel, which I don't think really happens a whole lot, at least in Catholic League football. Man, Montini Catholic is the team that he played. They're the truth. Like, Montini consistently is competing for state titles. Montini consistently is playing the best teams in the state of Illinois. And for him to, by the way, Carmel, his team never, ever competes with a team like Montini.
Yeah.
Like, that's just when Montini's playing Carmel, people go, all right, Montini's going to win. Like, that's just kind of like an automatic win. The fact that, and he carried, I mean, they scored 54 points and still lost. Like, the fact that he carried his team and played the game that he did against that level of competition in a really good high school football state against a really, really good team in that state. I mean, that's legit stuff. That's incredible stuff. And it's disappointing that they didn't win that game, and they lost a tough game earlier in the year too against Providence, who's another really good team in the Chicagoland area. But I think what Trey's doing with the history of what Carmel football has been in Illinois is wildly impressive.
So Nebraska may only have a couple more years of a pocket passer before they get a dual threat guy. Before we go to break here, we got Evan Bland coming up in just a little bit. Things could get worse in Chapel Bill. They have apparently gotten worse because now it's not only ESPN that is out for them. I don't know if you saw the student that was interviewed.
I saw that. That was tough. That was kind of funny though, where she goes, "I literally failed midterms, and that was even worse."
They're not competitive.
They're slow.
Everybody has first-year issues with their roster, but they're not competitive at all. This has been reported that the University of North Carolina staff has been directed by Bill Belichick not to post or repost anything related to the Patriots. And you know where this comes from?
Pennies.
Drake May had a big night last night in the upset win over Buffalo, and the North Carolina football Twitter account did not post anything about Drake May, who, if you did not know, played at North Carolina.
Well, first off,
They can't even tweet about Pat Patriot.
everybody talks about like Ohio State and them having bad quarterbacks and whatnot, and they become like the butt end.
Not the current guy they got.
Well,
Sayin is hello.
no,
Sayin and Beck for the national championship on Miami's home field. You guys gonna sign up for that?
Rematch
I would totally sign
of
up
the
for that.
02 or 03
Now,
game.
But when I'm saying that in the NFL, like
Yeah,
Ohio State
yeah,
quarterbacks
yeah.
go to the NFL.
They're a wide receiver
Yes.
to the NFL.
North Carolina has very quietly become that as well. Like Sam Howell did not work out. Mitch Trubisky did not work out. Like it's kind of become
Great pick.
like a trend that, hey, North Carolina quarterbacks, they have a tough time adjusting. They should be like, hey, we finally have a guy who went to the NFL that went 13 of 14 yesterday in the second half and 6 of 6 on the final drive in order to lead his team to beat the Buffalo Bills, which they haven't done in forever.
Well, that's why there was no posting last night.
Did you see
because he plays for the Patriots?
Did you see the Athletic article quote that a anonymous power or anonymous G5 coach was like, I don't know why North Carolina keep beating my team out for recruits, and that I know what P5 teams are going to be bad if they keep like taking the recruits away that we're also going for. Just so funny, by the way.
They might be the worst Power 4 team out there.
They are.
They've lost by
terrible.
34, 28, and 25 to Power 4 teams. They're not competitive at all. And you got a huge investment by North Carolina, and they can't afford to pull the plug right now. And he's not going to go out this way. But when you have fans that are leaving, and it was the fans that sold out your stadium, and you got to sell them season tickets next year, good luck. Basketball season will be here in a month. 1 month from today, basketball season starts. Huge game, Omaha Murray State up in Sioux Falls. But we're a month away from that. When we come back, David asks a great question in the Equitable Bank inbox. We'll try and ask good questions to Evan Bland. No mean to put you on the spot. When he joins us coming up in this hour as well from the Omaha World Herald on a Victory Monday, right?
Yes. Well, the Bears can lose.
No, because
They were on a bye week.
you know what? The Packers won too.
No,
We got to remember. Got to bring that up.
No. Nobody won, Gary. They didn't win. Nobody won. They're just going to lose.
Hmm.
They probably tied the bye week.
Yeah.
Bang.
So petty. Who do you guys have out of the bye?
New Orleans.
Ooh,
I
Hey.
think it's either New Orleans
Hey.
or Washington.
is that Fox's big doubleheader game?
Hey, Spencer Rattler was
Sunday
the
night?
first Saints quarterback that was drafted by the Saints to win a game since '98.
what?
Now, Because you remember Drew Brees was a free agent.
Was a
Jake Delhomme?
They have so next Monday is Washington for the Bears
Oh,
at Washington.
Ooh, and
Will
hey,
be-
thank you to Washington. I am a big fan. You know what? I love you, Indianapolis. I love you, Washington. I love you, Kansas City, to win the night and be 3-2 in a three-way tie in the West.
What is this for a pick 'em pool? What do we?
No, help us. Help a brother out. I'm watching HBO.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
It's Gary and Matt with Jimmy at 1620 The Zone. The Rivals High School poll has come out, the top 25.
Oh.
Millard South is number 19 in that poll. So there you go.
Congrats, the Millard South Radio Network. We were
You have this
Yeah, where you at?
weekend Lincoln High?
I'm where you're at. Where you are at.
Yeah?
We're at Elkhorn South.
Hi, you guys following the TV. TV will be on at 7.
We're following the good games. Except for last week. We didn't follow you.
Quick update. You heard Joey giving a traffic update. We had an incident here in Omaha this morning involving an Omaha police officer who was shot at the Quick Trip convenience store at 119th and West Dodge at about 6:20 this morning. The suspect is in custody. The condition of the officer, who was taken to the Creighton University Medical Center, Bergen Mercy, is not clear. But the suspect is in custody. And so when you hear Joey giving a traffic update about a police presence at 119th and Dodge, that is what happened this morning. So we'll keep you updated on the situation involving the Omaha police officer who was shot at that convenience store. Different note to the Equitable Bank inbox. David asked this question. Isn't it lovely to wake up on the 6th of October and we're not talking about penalties? Leave Pritchett alone. By the way, you pay a guy to start. Nice to see the guy starting.
Yeah, but
PFF loves him. Don't.
Gary. But I use it for different stats. You know I do.
The Father,
You know I
Son,
do.
and the Holy PFF is what you live by.
Okay.
Stop. You can't all of a sudden knock it, because I looked at PFF and they said that the two tackles were the best.
But I use the advanced statistics that talk about where they're running the ball the best and what the average what the average depth of target is, and the turnover worthy percentage, and the adjusted completion percentage, and the coverage marks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't.
Wait a minute.
When have I said to you, "Hey, this guy has a grade of 82.3"?
I don't know. I tried to give you a Gideon Bible once, and you said, "Nope, got my Bible. It's called PFF."
Red Hotel, Chicago.
Here's what I looked at. Let me just save this discussion for Evan Bland. Nebraska going to develop any depth on the offensive line?
No.
All 5 guys played all 55 snaps. Now, Turner Corcoran came in as an extra blocker.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't count. All 5 linemen played all 55 snaps. So if you're wondering why Justin Evans, who probably should have been pulled for a little bit because there's a standard, stayed in the game after the 15-yard penalty, all 5 played all 55 snaps.
I'm so glad you brought this up, because I was going to say this to you. I'm like, first off, he didn't have a good first half. Like, for just straight up playing, he did not play well. He wasn't getting to the second level. He wasn't keeping the depth of the pocket to where he typically keeps it. And then he does one of the stupider plays that I've seen. And the referee is literally shoulder to shoulder with him.
Yeah,
and you can't bring in Sam Sledge.
I thought it would be let's have a little discussion here on the sideline, but it was not. But we're not talking about penalties, turnovers, special teams. It's the 6th of October. It's little things that we should embrace. David asks, bigger coaching hire. You ready?
Yeah.
Put your ball cap on. Holgorsen or Eckler?
Eckler.
Mike Eckler. Not
Eckler.
even close.
I mean, it's incredible. Like, they don't win the Cincinnati game without him, because the 54-yard field goal unit was absolutely incredible, and that was a guy that he brought in. And then the field positioning against Cincinnati was absolutely superb. That's another guy that he brought in. And then look what happened this week. I mean, Nebraska it really should have been 7-7 when you think about it, because they only scored 7 offensive points in the first half. Like, because of incredible special teams and planning for it.
Well, and you have a coach who can see things that we don't see.
Yeah.
There's 2 things. One, they were going to run a fake punt no matter what. Okay. Even if they would have, like, the clocks would have hit 0 in the 4th quarter, Nebraska would have stayed on the field to run a fake punt, because they were going to run it no matter what. Now, the timing of when they ran it, I'm going to give credit to the Michigan State player, Snow, who made a great play to blow that up.
Mm-hmm.
But they were going to run it no matter what. Here's the other thing, is Eckler must have, right after the Michigan game, started watching Michigan State tape, because he was telling people during the bye week that Nebraska is going to block a punt against Michigan State.
That's awesome.
He had, and he was not shy about it. Like he was telling kind of strangers,
He w-
like they were going to block a punt. No.
he w-
Like they were going to block a punt. No. He was
legitimately.
he was on a plane, okay, during his bye week. I believe he was going to recruit, or I think he was going to recruit.
Okay.
And he told somebody, "Watch, Michigan State, we're going to block a punt." And Khan killed a man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
like
Right out of Star Trek 2.
that punter who was a nice punter for Michigan State
Yeah.
was never the same. Khan probably prevented that young man from ever having children again on coming in on the punt. Khan almost got to the punter before the ball got there.
That's
But
crazy.
Eckler knew they were going to block a punt. And then I guess, so this was a follow-up that I asked on Saturday night.
Oh, okay.
I guess in practice, he had the scout punt team run the same thing because you can't be running into Archie.
Sure. Yes.
And they never had an answer for Khan, but yet they'd seen it numerous times during the week.
Really?
Yes.
Was it because that blocker on the left, like there, he just always released and he never switched over to go and block?
Yep.
What a pickup. Now, here's the funny thing too. So you saw the tweet. It wasn't because I know him, so I want to give him credit. It wasn't just a random guy that he told, "Hey, we're gonna go and block a punt on a plane." He told Nick Sainert, who hosts radio in Lincoln, like he told a media member on a plane who has a show, like, "Hey, by the way, we're gonna go and block a punt." Do you know how confident you have to be to tell me, like somebody who reports on this stuff, that you're gonna go out and do something that doesn't happen a ton?
You know who has learned a lesson after watching Eckler on the sidelines on Saturday?
Who?
Rule. Rule refuses to high five Eckler for fear of a broken
He
hand.
get hurt. Yeah.
So Eckler went to high five Rule.
Yeah.
And Rule kind of didn't want to like have his hand broken. So it was very awkward. But man, I would watch an ISO cam of Eckler during the game. His guys love playing for him.
Lauren Michelson did a
Great
great job of zooming in her camera right on Eckler after the block punt, and then she posted it on Twitter. And he had the visor was backwards. Every coaching staff needs a guy who's going to wear a backwards visor. Serious. I mean,
I think every workplace needs that guy.
Should I be that guy? I have a couple visors, not just a hat collection. It's a
I'm
visor
open
collection.
to it. I don't know about your coworkers, but
They're not of any different teams or anything, by the way. They're
just like golf visors.
No, they're
from the-
Chicago Cubs
from the
visor, Notre Dame College Prep visor, homegrown visors. I can't wear half my hat still.
why?
Because he puts me through the ringer.
Because we are a Cubs fan, and all of a sudden we were wearing like a Cardinals hat one day because it's
That's
cool, and
not-
I like the little
that-
bird.
BS. That
Yeah.
is not true.
Did that happen while it was out?
It
No,
did.
no,
It did.
he's lying.
It did.
That never happened. You see how I talk about St. Louis? You think I would ever wear anything St. Louis based on
You
my
just
head?
went and bought
keep
a
surprising me.
frozen pizza from St. Louis.
Yes, which by the way I bought for you as well, which I haven't given to
It
you yet.
tastes great.
Well, I haven't given it to you yet because I keep
Week
forgetting
later.
it. By the way, when I'm walking out the door, I'm not thinking, "Oh, I have to grab a pizza." I'm thinking like, "Oh, I got to get to work. I don't want to miss it."
Evan Bland from the World Herald is coming up next. Matt Rule will speak today. His review of his offensive line will be interesting because he wanted to watch the tape before he made a comment.
I mean, what I say this facetiously.
He will speak in Ruleisms.
Yes.
Yes.
Like, what is he really
Wow.
going to say? They
Well-
got blown by.
Well,
They didn't pick up stunts.
Sometimes Ruleisms are real,
And sometimes ruleisms, are a little
But-
hyperbolic.
but does he include his quarterback in this discussion about offensive line play?
I doubt it. I highly doubt it.
Okay. Evan Bland from the World Herald will join us next on 1620 The Zone. All right, a Monday morning, now into October. We have NFL football tonight here on the Zone. Jacksonville and Kansas City. Big game in the AFC. Jacksonville's 3-1. Trevor Lawrence is not getting sacked. They run the ball well. They stop the run. You get to watch or listen to Patrick Mahomes playing tonight. That's a 7:15 kickoff. I wish I could send you to radio in Omaha, but playoff baseball, even the World Series, is not carried in this city. But there are 2 playoff games. And there is a trip to Maryland upcoming where Evan Bland will be shortly. He joins us now from the World Herald. Good morning.
Morning, guys.
How would you, because you were writing after the game and you're trying to get your stories done, and you wrote yesterday about the road trip. Now, a couple of days after what we witnessed on Saturday, you got a word or two to aptly describe that game of 60 minutes between Nebraska and Michigan State?
Yeah, it was a wacky one. I mean, it really was. Like, yeah, they're paying me to be articulate on this. It's really I thought from the block punt on, like, it was so disjointed. I mean, you had that stretch after the first touchdown drive into the third quarter when in the offense, I think it was 19 yards on 24 plays or something like that, and then they move down the field and score again, and just when you felt like you had the game pegged, something different would happen, kind of defensively too. Just when you felt like they were going to hold Michigan State for a while, Aiden Childs goes full improv and moves down the field, and they look like, they could be moving it for a while. And maybe the wackiest thing of all was Nebraska's special teams being really good throughout. I can't, in the last 8, 9, 10 years, can't really think of a game where special teams was more consistently good and made a bigger impact on them winning the game than what they did in this one. So it's just kind of a mix of moments where some of Nebraska's struggles were confirmed. I think some of their areas of strength looked a little bit more so. And ultimately, you look up and they're about right at the spread. We're right at about what people thought. Maybe the path to get there was not what you expected, but that's kind of where it ended up. And it kind of feels like the season to this point has still been pretty predictable overall. Like you kind of felt like they were going to beat Cincinnati. You kind of felt like they were underdogs against Michigan. Michigan State was a game they needed to win. They did. So it remains like we're still kind of waiting for that first big fork in the road. But I thought we got close just in terms of some of the micro level stuff that played out on Saturday.
Evan, you've been to all these press conferences since the minute that Matt Rule became the head coach at Nebraska. And I know that you know the buzzwords, right, that we've heard over the last couple of years: standard, culture, player-led team, and a lot of, especially in the first year, a lot of what Matt Rule would talk about would be about building the program, not necessarily just specifically on the field, but off the field as well. Do you think that this game was all of that coming to fruition?
Yeah, I think it was a culture game. Don't forget iron sharpens iron. The over-under on that on a given day is like 3.5 references. But yeah, I mean, because like that was one of the reasons this game was so strange, was because of all of the things that went into it. Oftentimes, Nebraska doesn't win this game. When they give up sacks like they did, when they struggle to run the ball, when they have these offensive droughts, like these are all markers that have submarined Nebraska's chances at times through the years. And I thought what Matt Rule said and some of the players said afterward was spot on, where for large stretches of that game, it felt like the UCLA game last year, where you're like, oh man, they're big favorites. They're at home. They're looking flat. Like, how do you, everyone's kind of looking at each other like, well, what's going to happen here? And last year that team wasn't able to come out of that spiral midstream game, and it leads to a bunch of changes. And this year on Saturday, they do come out of that thing. I mean, they went into halftime and they were not happy. And there were a lot of curt, frank discussions that went into that thing. And they came out and they, embraced the adversity and everything else and found a way to get the win. So I kind of buy into the idea of like when you're talking about a rebuild, you're going to kind of have to go from losing close to winning close, and it kind of feels like that's where they are with that right now. Obviously, they did it against Cincinnati, and that looks better by the week. They just do it now against a Michigan State team that I still think could be decent, could be a bowl game, a bowl team potentially. So yeah, I think they're learning. They're learning to expect these kind of results and not wait for the other shoe to drop. So it does feel like another little step closer toward having that culture manifest that we've been hearing about now for a couple of years under Matt Rule.
So it was kind of I liked your word wacky, weird. It was a day where the offensive tackles that played in the game on both sides weren't very good. The quarterback battle didn't live up to the billing. Wind, I do believe, had to play a factor in a lot of decision making and the way you went about your business, because on the floor of the stadium, it was nasty. I mean, it's unlike stuff you see on a normal or you feel on a normal Saturday. But in particular, Nebraska's offense, and we're 5 games in, and I brought this up to Matt earlier in the show, I think they're still looking for their identity. Does it feel like there's more for this offense? And not just basing it off a Michigan State game where they had 261 yards of offense, but just more period, that they haven't even come close to what their ceiling could be?
Yeah, I think so. And Dylan Raiola spoke to that after Saturday, like when they're on the sidelines between series, like he's watching on iPads and seeing guys open. And he said, and that's like the worst feeling when you're holding the ball and looking around and there are guys running free. So I think some of that is him needing to process that and identify that quicker. Some of that is on the offensive line, continuing to need to buy him more time. I mean, Michigan State had not been a good sack team. They looked like a pretty good sack team on Saturday. So that's an issue, especially as they kind of figure out those tackle spots and what that looks like. We've seen what Emmett Johnson can do when he really gets going and when he has rushing lanes, and those have been sporadic, I think, to this point. And you have some real playmakers at receiver that you saw flashes of, but I think there's more there too. I mean, we've seen what Dane Key can do, and he was pretty quiet on Saturday, and Barty had a couple of moments. But yeah, I mean, I think the wind probably played a little bit of a factor in that too. I think at some point, like you get into some of these games, especially in this upcoming 5-game stretch, like where you're just going to have to kind of let it loose. Like it feels like a lot of it's been kind of scripted, and they've been pretty conservative with Dylan and not wanting to throw the ball too deep downfield or improvise much. It's been, hey, try to get the ball out quick and distribute it. But I do think at some point there's going to come a time when you just have to take those chances and let talent take over. And maybe that's when Nebraska is going to be at its best, when it's not trying to outthink itself or outsmart the opponent, but it can just go up there and say, these are our guys. Like we have good skill players. We have good linemen. Like let them do their thing. So maybe more of a simplified approach is something that's coming potentially. But yes, I do think the talent that they have there, the experience they have at the play caller spot, Dana Holgerson, like they should. I would expect them to be producing more. And we're still not quite halfway through the season at this point. They're gonna, the Big Ten's not easy, but I would expect that number to tick up, and for them to 261 yards of total offense, that's tied for the fewest in the Matt Rule era. I would expect that to be the floor moving forward.
You mentioned the wind. 52 of the 65 points scored on Saturday were by the team that had the wind at their back. And, I love that you brought up Dylan's processing, because Gary and I were talking, and I think we both kind of saw that there were moments that Dylan looked like an October quarterback from last year. And there were, I feel like, strides that were taken in the first 4 weeks of him being quicker, that you're thinking, all right, maybe he is processing quicker. Are you concerned, overly concerned about Dylan, and that maybe he has reverted back to, some of the things that he was doing that weren't so great last season? Or do you think this is a one-off?
Well, I mean, I did feel like that it was more of a flash a little bit of last year, yes, where he was holding on to the ball a little too long, and you kind of have that inner clock in your head where you take the snap and you go kind of 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and you probably want to get that thing out. And he was waiting another beat or two, sometimes because guys weren't open, sometimes because maybe he just didn't see them. I do think the wind played a factor in that. Like, you look at his numbers last year in the wind. I think it was the Rutgers game last year. Like, that had been, he completed fewer than 50% of his passes and struggled in those conditions too. So I do think that played a part, maybe more than he wanted to admit, or Nebraska wanted to just sort of have that as an excuse to play off. But I think it was a reminder that he's still a second-year guy navigating Big Ten defenses. And I mean, you got to get that thing out. I'm guessing that's going to be a big theme from Dana Holgorsen to him this week. I'm guessing we're going to hear about that on Tuesday when he speaks with the media, just about, like, that's when Nebraska's going, is as they like to say, getting the ball in play, getting it to a receiver, handing it off, letting those guys make a guy miss and get downfield and try to break one. But you can't do that if your quarterback's hanging on to it for too long. And I thought Dylan was at his best when he was taking the snap, going back and getting it out in a couple of seconds. We saw that on that long pass to Ja'Cory Barney that kind of got him going in the third quarter. So that's when they're at their best. And I think that's something certainly that's going to be a point of emphasis this week.
I played all but 16 plays, and when he was out there for 52 snaps, which led the defensive number, Mr. Nwaneri was really, really good. He was part of a defense that created havoc, and guys that were young performed. Javen Wright, a little bit older. He's not one of the youths that was out there, but the young guys played well along with Javen Wright. But was it the arrival of Mr. Nwaneri on Saturday and the way that he played, even when he didn't make a play, Evan, we still talked about him and noticed him?
Yeah, he made a difference. I mean, he looked like a former 5-star prospect out there on Saturday for sure. That's what Nebraska's been looking for, guys that are able to pressure the passer and explode off the line. And yeah, he was among those able to do that. I thought Elijah Judy had maybe one of his better games as a Husker. I mean, that hit he laid on Aiden Childs that knocked him out of the game for a few plays there was a display of physical strength and power, I thought. I mean, you mentioned Javen Wright hurdling the running back early on for the sack. And so it did look like of all the areas of concern that maybe acquitted themselves a little bit in this game, I think probably the pass rush would be that one, and sort of by extension the run defense as well. I mean, Michigan State got to the point where they just didn't really have much of an answer offensively outside of letting Aiden Childs drop back and try to figure it out on his own. So yeah, I mean, Nebraska does not. They haven't had a talent like Williams Nwaneri very often in the last 10 years. Guys who physically look the part and are able to disrupt like this. And he feels like another guy who maybe we're going to see his best here in the season's second half. I mean, he's still a guy who redshirted at Missouri last year and has been settling in and kind of figuring out his role as Nebraska's tweaking its rotation and its scheme and its defensive front seven. So yeah, I would expect as he continues to become more comfortable and his role's more defined within that offense, I would expect him to continue to be disruptive and probably more so here in the second half of the year.
Evan, have you noticed a difference at all between the Tony White 3-3-5 and the John Butler 3-3-5?
I think it's been I think the thing about the Tony White 3-3-5 that really stood out was you could bring pressure from just about anywhere, and opponents didn't know. Like, we heard that consistently the previous 2 years, which was, man, we're confused. Like, guys are stunting. Edge rushers are coming. Maybe there's a linebacker blitz, somebody from the secondary, and I don't know that we've heard that as much this year. I think it's been they played it a little bit more straight up, just in terms of, I think they probably cut down on the stunting a little bit in this most recent game. That had been an area, kind of an issue for them being able to finish those in the first third of the year. So I think it has been probably a little more straight up. I think the secondary is better I mean, it's been deeper, and those skill guys across the board. I mean, they're still leading the country in pass defense at this point, so that's been a little bit better than what it was. And I think, the story is still ongoing, right? Like, I think the front seven is an area that they're continuing to figure out. We've seen a little bit less Marquess Watson-Trent, a little bit more Vincent Shavers and Javen Wright in the middle, and we've seen them kind of cycling through guys up front too, a little bit more Cade Petchock, and so I think some of the personnel continues to be smoothed over and kind of worked through, but they both had their positives for sure. Certainly the run defense under Tony White was more effective than what it's been to this point with John Butler, but I think the potential's there for this group to finish similarly to what they did under Tony White as well. So a little bit different, maybe a little bit more predictable, but pretty similarly effective, I would say, too.
A little bit different from the defense for the next four. So Sorsby, Underwood, Childs, 600-plus yards rushing against Nebraska, 10 scores. Now, the next four quarterbacks, and sacks are included, have only combined for 63 carries. The next four starting quarterbacks that Nebraska will face. So we're not into the day of, guy might take off and run. Now we've got some pocket passers or guys that throw it a little bit more. What do you think that does for this defense? Does that benefit this current defense?
Yeah, I think so. I think pretty clearly it does, because, I mean, its strength has been defending the pass, and that's been the area of struggle, right? When Sorsby has been able to improvise downfield, and if Michigan State didn't have Aiden Childs' athleticism, I don't know that they score 14 points last Saturday. Like, that's just been sort of a crutch for some of these opposing offenses to lean on these last few weeks. So, I mean, yeah, you're able to really lean more into your pass rushers. Like, you don't have to worry about the scramble as much if you're a Williams Nwaneri or a Dasan McCullough or whomever. Like, you can get after that passer, and you have to be cognizant maybe a little bit more of screens and some other plays that come up. But I think it plays into Nebraska's strength to go up against a pocket passer at this point, where you feel like you do have some erasers on the back end with what your corners are doing. I mean, you essentially have three starting quality cornerbacks. You're going to get Malcolm Hartzog back, if not this week, then pretty shortly after, later this month. And so, I think it's a great position for them to be in, and we'll see how that plays out. But yes, I absolutely think you can get after the quarterback a little bit more without the risk of getting burned the way that they have at times. That's only going to be a positive thing for Nebraska.
Yeah, fantastic, Evan. Safe travels out to Maryland. Enjoy College Park on Saturday.
First time since 2019 talking to Ramir Johnson and Luke McCaffrey in a drizzle. So this maybe it'll be a different experience this time.
Yeah, let's hope. There probably will be more people there than that day.
I would think so, yeah. maybe as many Husker fans as Terps fans.
That's true. Hey, appreciate it as always. Thank you.
See you, Evan.
Thanks, guys.
SP Plus has this game 23-20 Nebraska.
Oh, wow. Okay. I mean, that's way off the line.
But it's October, and this means that Mike Loxley doesn't know how to win in October. He's 21-5 in September. He's 7-14 in October. But I do think there will be a chip on their shoulder. You know, they were 4-0. They were headed to 5-0. They melted down in the fourth quarter, that the fourth quarter was not a fluke. Washington, not a fluke, but he is a freshman.
Yeah.
He's only had 3 designed runs all year.
Really?
Yep.
He looks a little bit more athletic than that.
But he likes to throw the ball away. Now, he doesn't eat sacks.
Yeah.
But he's at 60.1 completion percentage, 1,257 yards, 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. They are 128th in the country in rushing offense.
Oh my God.
But they are 24th in the country in rush defense, and their defense has 19 sacks and 9 interceptions.
Wow.
So this will be a tight one.
Choo choo. Do you know what that is?
That's a train.
That's the DeMond Williams train. The hell of a win for Washington.
Yeah.
Whoa. Are you off on your guys after?
No, I'm on my
Ohio
guys,
State?
but I was hoping for a 5-0. I thought maybe Maryland sneaks in and they get ranked.
Who do they got this week? Are they
Who,
off this-
Maryland?
Yeah.
They got Nebraska.
No,
You
Washington.
heard it here first.
Yeah.
Washington.
Washington may, because of all this travel, people get tired.
Okay. I get
Um,
tired.
Washington this weekend, they have, they have Rutgers on a Friday night.
Okay. 6-1.
Yeah.
That is a
That'd be
Big Ten
big.
traditional game.
That'd be massive. The Indiana, you called them the Indiana of this year, Washington.
Now I'm on to Virginia.
Okay.
The Arizona State of 2025 is Cincinnati.
Yeah.
The Indiana of 2025 is
Man,
Virginia.
They kicked the crap out of Iowa State in that first half.
They did.
Tyree Walker was running over
Yeah.
everybody. And then the second half, meh,
Yeah.
meh.
Well, if Nebraska would have beat Michigan.
I know.
All right. Last hour is upcoming. Couple of odd things also happened in the game that we have not discussed from Saturday. We'll do that. We'll get into the chat room on YouTube. Also, email, Twitter, or text, or if you just want to stop by. We're here till
Please.
10 on 1620 The Zone. Speaking of Canada and rushing the passer, see what I
Yes.
did there?
I see what you did there.
You guys think if Toronto sweeps the Yankees, if Vlad makes the earth shake in the Bronx tomorrow, that Mr. Boone will no longer be in the dugout when they go to spring training in Tampa?
George will come back from the grave.
3 and out and swept like that. They haven't been, I mean, they tried to rally yesterday, but that's 2 straight games they've allowed a big old crooked number to the Blue Jays.
I think it might be time. I mean, how long has he been the manager of the Yankees at this point? I mean, it's been a hot minute.
Right after he
and,
hit the home run.
I mean, they've spent so much money on this team, and it's even like dating back to like when it seems like the last couple of years they go on these weird slumps in the middle of the summer, and it's like it ends up like, you know, they lose a ton of confidence and a ton of momentum. They have to recapture it all back, but then you end up playing a road series. Like, I don't know. I know they're 1 year away from making the World Series, but we've been doing this whole like, should Boone keep his job or not charade, it feels like, for the last couple of years. And it's just like, maybe it is time for them to just get a fresh perspective.
Aaron Judge will be 34 in April.
Wow.
So
I
could
know.
the window be closing on the chance to maximize Judge?
I think so. 34.
How about getting a base hit in the clutch there, Aaron Judge?
Well, I mean, this is now, I mean, last season he didn't have a good postseason and he struggled, and they made the World Series.
A couple of things here before I talk about 2 oddities from Saturday. I will direct this question to you.
Okay.
Paul wrote it into the Equitable Bank inbox because you're a big fan, and you've taken on these questions.
Okay.
I'm big red overreaction. Offensive line coach.
Yes.
Paul says, "Good morning, Gary. So, do you think when Dylan leaves the program after next season, will Rule fire Dominic?"
I mean,
I'm sorry, but I think the only reason he is still around is because of Dylan.
I think that if the offensive line continues to play the way that they did against Michigan State, yes, he should and he will. I mean, it was a very, very bad
Sam Pittman?
performance. So, yeah, if Dylan leaves, or if keeping Dylan, if Dylan being in the program is the thing that's keeping Donovan around, and the offensive line continues to be terrible, and then Dylan leaves, and yeah, you should get rid of Donovan. But I do also want to caution people, and I think that Donovan Raiola has done a pretty good job over 3 years of being the coach of the offensive line at the University of Nebraska. And I'm not ready to say that 2, albeit bad games, is going to make me be like, oh my God, he should definitely go.
It might just not be a Donnie problem. Maybe the fact that when was the last really good tackle at the University of Nebraska? Offensive tackle. A program that has a tendency to make guards tackles, and then they go to the NFL and they don't play tackle. They actually play the position that they're best suited for. The last time Nebraska had a really good offensive tackle, I'll hang up and listen. But that doesn't make up for, they have to be, there were times on Saturday where 4 guys did the right thing and the 5th guy did not, and they get blown up. It's not a really good combination right now when you have breakdowns with a quarterback who doesn't have a lot of pocket presence. So that's why I say, I know you push back on it, is you can't tell the offensive line story without including the quarterback because they go hand in hand. One helps the other helps, so on and so forth. The stats are they are when they faced now 2 Big Ten defenses. Michigan State doesn't rush the passer. They had 5 sacks. So the first 3 games, 114 dropbacks, 3 sacks allowed. The next 2, which include Michigan and Michigan State, 77 dropbacks, 12 sacks allowed. Average time to throw was 2.89.
Yeah.
Cincinnati was the best at 2.52.
Yeah.
Rule's comments today will be, I don't expect him to go nuts on the offensive line, but he said, I will review it. And that'll be one of the first questions that comes up, because if you're going to make that jump, you can't have this be a weekly discussion. Well, and Nebraska won.
Sure.
Nebraska put up 38 points, and we're talking about the offensive line.
And also too, though, like, I am very worried that Michigan State was stunting up on the offensive line, and multiple times it just seemed like the offensive line got confused and they didn't know their assignments and they didn't know who to block and they didn't know how to react to that. And like that should be taught. That should be coached. That should be reviewed and filmed. Hey guys, these are the stunts that they run. They're gonna show you this guy. They're actually gonna push him inside. Then they're gonna bring another guy off the edge. Like you should be prepared for that as an offensive line. You should be communicating that. And the fact that that happened multiple times to them, does make me very worried about, what are they going over and what are they reviewing and how, and them being prepared.
It was discombobulated. But then when they were all in sync,
Yeah.
and they matched up with the quarterback, you got explosive plays.
And I also think so too. Like it's not like they haven't. What worries me too about this offensive line is that number one, they have invested in it. Like they've paid Pritchett, they paid Rocco Spindler, like they took money, they went in the portal. And also, I mean, now Donovan Raiola, whether or not he has brought all of these guys in himself, has coached them for a very long time. And I'm not saying that Gunnar Gatula has to develop into a first-round draft pick or anything like that. But when you have a guy under your tutelage for that long, like you shouldn't have these massive mistakes that are being made. And I think that happened not only to Gatula, but Evans didn't play a great first half either. And he's been with Raiola since Raiola's gotten there. So
Last time Nebraska had a really, really good offensive tackle.
When was the last time one was drafted?
You're going to go back a bit. A true offensive tackle.
I mean, it's
been a while is the answer to this question.
Oh, yeah.
So Nebraska has a running back and a tackle problem.
I agree with that too, because I mean, with Emmett, we get all caught up in the backup running back situation and having two running backs and whatnot. But the case in point is also this. Emmett Johnson is not a top 5 Big Ten running back. I would have to look at the stats more closely and stuff like that. But I can tell you based off of what I've watched in Big Ten football, I wouldn't even call, I would, if he's top 10, he's either 9 or 10. Like he's barely there. Like the running back situation isn't just, oh, you haven't been able to build depth in the room. It's also, you have not been able to build somebody that you can just consistently trust. In the Big Ten, when the wind is like that, that should be a game where Nebraska says, okay, we're not going to force our quarterback to try and whip it through this thing. We're going to run this ball 20 times. We're going to run this ball 30 times. We're going to put the ball in the belly of our back, and we trust him. And the fact they only ran the ball 13 times in those conditions with their number one RB is concerning to me too.
Yeah, that 42-minute stretch of offense, or not being on the field to perform offense, was a sight to behold. Okay, one other thing. Well, two things happened. I know you want to talk about one of them because you said you'd bring it up. I heard you on Big Red Overreaction about the booing.
Yes.
But I am surprised that more people have not brought up what I brought up.
Which is?
The kid, he's a student because he posted his TikTok video yesterday that ran on the field in the middle of the game.
Yeah. So I didn't know this, by the way, until you tweeted it out. I had no clue it occurred.
Okay, so this is
Like kid getting in trouble running on the field stuff?
Well, so he got arrested.
Okay.
But he is
Kind of like Doug in the commercial.
QUINC on TikTok. He posted his entire video. He started from the north corner of the stadium, and he ran on the field. And it looked like, because I saw him right away.
He wasn't chasing an emu either.
Well, it kind of looked like he was, like one of those people that run on the field to grab the tee.
Yes.
So he is running on the field, and I was like, that guy is running on the field, and he's got his phone out. So he's got his phone out. You can go to his TikTok. The video is up there.
Is it good?
It actually is pretty good. Not encouraging. So he's running on the field, and
Probably just trying to get reception.
it almost looks like at about the 45-yard line, the kid slows down thinking that there's going to be a security guard to come out and get him.
Yeah, you would think.
So he slowed down. And remember, he's running with his phone, and he's got his phone pointed towards him. Nobody comes out, like no security comes out. He's now running through the end. and he is headed towards the South Stadium. So he runs like hardly anybody reacted.
Really?
I'm watching this kid and I'm like, what's going on?
Was he on the field?
Yes.
Yeah.
He ran across the field. He ran from one end zone corner all the way to the other end zone.
He looked like Barney returning a punt.
right down the middle of the field. Now, it was in a change of possession.
Okay.
So no players were on the field. The field was wide open. So you could see the kid running. So he runs all the way to the South Stadium through the end zone. Again, he's waiting to get apprehended. Now, remember, earlier in the week, they had an incident, unfortunately, in Lincoln where they had a streaker in front of the business school. So
oh my God.
It was a warm week.
he
last
was
week.
dressed, thank God. So he jumps the small fence
Yeah.
at the south end zone.
Okay.
Nobody's going after him. Okay? But
He
then
stopped at the
he
rail
got,
yard.
so if you go to his TikTok and you see his video, he gets underneath the stadium
Yeah.
and then he is apprehended. But nobody inside of the field reacted to this kid sprinting down. I mean, he was like 4'9". He's sprinting down the field, waiting to get apprehended. Because I think what he wanted is for security guards to come, like maybe like State Patrol or Lincoln
Mhm.
Police or,
Sure.
campus police, come on the field and
Chase
corral him.
him and like Mike
Because he
Curtis.
slowed down. He slowed down. And then he was like, oh, what do I do now? There he goes. Jump the fence. Nobody reacted. Play carried on. And I'm like, what's going on?
Here's my thing though. Like, what do they do with him afterwards? Do they take him to jail?
No,
do
you
they
get
just
a
kick him
ticket.
out?
No, take him to Kincaid.
Well, you probably get banned from Memorial Stadium for life and you get
Jeez.
ticketed. Yeah, because it's trespassing.
Yeah. Is that worth it? Is really just sprinting? First off, you can sprint end zone to end zone at Memorial Stadium after the game. They let fans onto the field and like hang out. Will Compton and Taylor Lewan were hanging out with fans after the game, after the Michigan game. Like that's allowed. That's a thing you can do. What are you looking at? What happened?
Well, let me just give an update here. We're watching live television. So earlier this morning here in Omaha, a Omaha police officer was shot at a convenience store on West Dodge. The suspect is in custody. The last update, we don't have the sound here. All the local television stations are live. Todd Schmatter, the chief of police, is speaking. The condition of the officer was not clear when he was taken to the hospital, but we did have a police officer shot at a convenience store on 119th and West Dodge this morning. So that's what I was looking up here in the studio. So, but the kid got arrested. But you can see his TikTok video. He was looking to get arrested,
That's so dumb.
but nobody, maybe one of the Silver Slugger yellow coats would.
Well, if he was running like that, I think they're kind of like, he's going to come to us anyway. Let the game come to you. That's probably.
He ran right by.
Harlan would have had
He
an
ran-
epic call.
Hey, he ran right by a security guard that was standing in the end zone,
oh, hey.
and that little short fence, that padded red fence.
Mhm.
He just leaped over
Maybe-
and
Maybe they thought he was a part. Was he wearing red?
but he didn't look like
A staffer
no.
or anything like
No.
that?
No, a staffer doesn't run down the middle of Memorial Stadium's
What if-
field with
what
a
if-
phone
well,
pointed
well,
at him, and he's talking to it.
You never know. Maybe they thought, oh, that's the social
Ma,
media guy.
Ma,
The
I'm on
social
the
media
phone.
guy is getting a cool little shot for the Twitter.
Oh,
Maybe it was a sting. Maybe he had different people tell the security guards, hey, by the way, like we're gonna have a social guy like run across the field. Take a
Okay,
video."
on that note, here is Scott on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone Hotline. Good morning, Scott.
Gentlemen, thanks for taking my call. I think Nebraska has an athleticism problem at tackle, and I'm going to back it up with what I feel is two very solid points. I feel Nebraska's best offensive lineman in the last, let's say, 10 years is a kid from Beatrice that they converted from a tight end.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, there was a young man from a little town called Denison, Iowa, that went to Iowa, and he was a quarterback in high school when he was a sophomore. Brandon Sheriff was an all-pro guard, but he was a tackle at Iowa. There's a young man playing at North Dakota that I think is a much better tackle than any of the tackles Nebraska has, and he was a Millard West kid, and he was a tight end. I think Nebraska's missing out on the concept of the athleticism because I think the Big Ten edge rushers and what's abusing our tight ends and what's abusing our tackles is athletic guys, and we're not athletic enough. I'll hang up and listen, guys.
I think it's a good call from Scott. I got a question for you because I think I posed this question to Josh Peterson on a Big Red Overreaction after the Michigan game, and I never asked this to you. And I think you have a good eye for stuff like this. Does it seem like to you that Pritchett's like antsy getting out of his alignment? That he's like kind of shaking a little, like he's worried to like get good timing off the ball, like off the snap. Like, I think
I kind of see where you're going.
because I think that might cause some of those false starts that he's been having. Is like he's worried to get to where his spot is.
Well,
when, to
don't
get to the rusher.
don't you do that if you are not confident in your ability on your get off and your speed?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's to Scott's point, the athleticism, right? And it's like I noticed rewatching the Michigan tape, like when they were Pritchett only had 7 snaps, but Michigan was really wide. Like they were in some cases they were kind of like wide 9s, right? And they were just trying to cut off the edge and just get to Dylan and use their speed around him. Like I think that is a great example of like Nebraska just not being great and getting off of their blocks and getting off of the snap.
I think I believe the person was apprehended not very far from this radio station. So Scott used North Dakota. I'll go a step further. North Dakota State, Gray Zabel, Cody Mock, Cordell Volson. They've had really good offensive line coaches at North Dakota State. They also have a tradition. The tradition that Nebraska used to have with offensive linemen, how they were built, how they acted, how they played, has changed so much, and it's been a revolving door at the position coach of an offensive line coach. The offensive line coach might mean more to his group of guys that he coaches than any other coach that's on the staff that is a position coach. So Nebraska's had a revolving door, and it's not just a Donnie problem. This is going back. Again, I'm still waiting. An offensive tackle, we went, bam, is coaching matters, style matters, development matters. That's why I'm thinking all 5 guys played 55 snaps. We haven't seen a lot of the backups.
I know.
One of the guys, Scott brought up Dennison. Okay. So we're talking Western Iowa. Nebraska got a nice little victory in Grant Bricks. Hadn't played much this year.
No, he hasn't. I don't think he's played at all.
So
like very limited, if any.
I think, Justin Evans is the one to me that is the one that's developed the most of the 5 there. Now I take out Rocco and Pritchett because they started somewhere else when they got here, but I'm talking about guys that were here and where they were when they got here to where they are now. I think it's all encompassing. Nebraska's development of offensive linemen is on the struggle bus. And why can't they be good at the beginning of the year? Because I will give credit, Donnie, last year, Nebraska's offensive line got better as the season went along. But why can't they be good at the jump? And why can't this offensive line be good at the jump?
I know.
Because it's not like they're all new guys that are getting to know each other. So there's something missing.
Gary, this is dating back to 2022. It was the same thing, and when that offensive line was actually a problem. I mean, that offensive line was getting Casey Thompson killed. But they ended up being better at the end of the year. But man, remember that Rutgers game? Like that was brutal to watch that. And that's been, and I don't know, it's like Donnie too, like he's taken these guys who aren't that great and he's made them serviceable. For example, Bryce Benhart was a mess when he first got here. And he was actually able to coach Benhart into being somewhat serviceable on the offensive line at the end of his career. But he has not taken a guy with a ton of talent and turned them into a 2nd round pick, 3rd round pick. A guy that you could just be, oh, that's an all Big Ten tackle. He has not. He's made some, chicken. He's made chicken salad out of some maybe not so great situations, but he hasn't. It's just a fact. He has not taken a guy with a ton of talent and been like, oh, that's the dude. That's gonna be our foundation of the O-line. He hasn't done that yet. That's a problem. That's a problem. And I like him a lot, and I like where he came from, and I liked who he coached under, Harry Hiestand and Notre Dame, and I thought that Donovan Raiola did a pretty good job at being the Bears' assistant offensive line coach. But
would he get more grace if his name was not Raiola?
No, I don't think he would.
Because would he? If he was Donovan Smith coaching offensive line, would the reaction towards him be different when the line struggles?
Well, No, because I think he's getting put through the ringer right now. And I think if his last name was Donovan Smith, he'd be getting put through the ringer.
Okay.
Now, in terms of like his retention, yeah, I think his retention probably would be handled very differently if he wasn't related to the starting quarterback and a committed quarterback.
See, it's a conundrum of, we saw with our eyes that when all five are playing well, the explosive plays happen.
Yes.
And guys are downfield, because there are moments where they were good, like guys were downfield blocking, like Pritchett was downfield blocking. Spindler got to the next level and blocked, which they don't do they haven't done consistently. They just lack consistency. And that's why I think this offense is kind of like stuck. Like there's more to the offense, in my opinion, that they can do, that they want to do, but it's one play, five guys are doing the same thing. The next two plays, one guy is off, and it just throws everything off. Pritchett blocked down on a pass play. Four guys went pass pro, Pritchett blocked down, and his man ran right by him, and Dillon had no shot.
And also too, Gary, like, what do you think it says about the O-line that their top running back was averaging 6.1 yards per carry and they only ran it 13 times in those wins?
There's a trust thing there. There's absolutely a trust thing. I loved how Nebraska scored the first touchdown in the red zone. And I imagine that falls under the category of, you're going to see something you haven't seen before, when they ran Harburg to Dillon to Emmett.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would.
So I'm just going to say that's what they were, but
referring to.
They were creative, but God, don't you think in the red zone, don't you just line it up? You got five guys, five big hobnollies that just move the pile.
Well,
and the next thing you know, you're in the end zone. If it takes 2 plays or 3 plays, you're in the end zone, and you don't have to use like some deception to open up. And again, I thought it was a great play design. Emmett walked right into the end zone from 2 yards out.
Yeah. But
it took 3 guys to handle the football to get you 2 yards.
But Gary, you talk about like being creative. They were creative when they pitched Lindenmeyer that ball on the 4th and 2 against Michigan. That would also constitute, he came across and they did the little flip play. Like that would constitute being creative. They didn't get it.
But don't you think on that, going back to the Michigan game, you got 7 on the nice play design with Barney. Okay, now it's 2nd and 3rd, or 2nd down and 3. Is, hey, we got 2 downs here to get 3 yards. No, let's throw a fade, which either retire it or find a different person to be at the other end of the fade.
I think they should retire it. Okay. I just honestly too.
But I think now
I'm
it's
not
like,
a fade
we
guy.
want to complete it so bad.
I'm not a fade
that we're just
guy.
going to continue to do it.
I'm honestly, unless it's Devontae Adams or Randy Moss or Calvin Johnson, I'm not a fade human. Like those are the only 3 that I would throw out there. It's just, you're right though. Why don't you shouldn't you be able in the Big Ten in your 3rd year with all the recruiting that you've done, just be able to line up in the red zone and say, hey, 2nd and 3, we're going to hand the ball off here 3 times and get the first down?
Especially with a unit that is older.
Like, yes. I mean, this is where the conversations of like this staff being around and Rule being around for multiple years, if this crap was happening in year 1, I get it. All right. Now you're in year 3. You have your guys. You in the transfer portal era too. Everybody on your team has been your decision. You've decided to keep them there. It's unacceptable.
Well, it's just it's the balance of, for the first 42 minutes of the game on Saturday, Nebraska had 77 yards of total offense. The last 18 minutes, they were able to finish with 261.
I don't know. And I want to go back to one word you said there, trust, right? Just they were actually running the ball. Emmett Johnson looked good. Emmett Johnson looked fast. I thought he looked well rested. I thought he looked healthy. I thought the bye week did him probably the best out of anybody else on that.
Yeah, he did look. I heard you mention that. I agree with you.
Yeah.
He did look like he had a little bit more pop.
Yeah.
After he ran, so after the long pass to Barney, they run Emmett 2 more times. The last one is the touchdown. He would only run it 2 more times in the game. And you know what? And he ran it for a touchdown.
I don't get that, man. I don't understand. And in that weather condition too, and I don't think we talked about it enough on BROR also, that the fact that they clearly could not throw the football in the 2nd and 3rd quarter.
Mm-hmm.
And it was because for whatever reason, Dillon was just having a tough time with the wind and with the protection and did not look like himself. And the fact that they could not trust themselves to be like, you know what, they had a lead. They had a lead against a bad defense. Shouldn't you be able to be like, hey, we're gonna milk this thing?
That's why I'd be curious this weekend. Maryland's a pretty good run defense. But there's a lot of things though. I know we're sifting through some of the negative stuff, and I keep going back to it's October 6th, and we're not talking about turnovers, penalties, or special teams. We got all these weird trends with Nebraska. Great passing offense, great passing defense. Bad rushing offense, bad rushing defense. I have found another stat.
All right.
I'll share it when we come back.
Oh, dang it.
It's Gary and Matt on 1620 The Zone. So we've had some fun with Penn State this morning.
As we should.
Yeah, they suck.
Did Penn State hurt the Big Ten though by losing?
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
I mean, is the Big Ten only going to get 3 in the playoff?
Probably.
The SEC has 8 of the top 14 are ranked if you enjoy the polls. And unless you've been to that country, I would not enjoy the polls.
And I don't know, Gary, like if Indiana, sorry,
It is a little like Warsaw out there today.
I was locked in. I was locked into the point. I'm sure it was a good
That's
joke.
a different program.
They're going to get 3 teams in the playoff.
What happens if Indiana gets their butts whooped by Oregon?
They're going to have to run the table and be 10-2.
Yeah, but then what's the other? Don't they play what? They play Penn State, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what if they end up losing to Penn State and then get their butts whooped by Oregon? Do you make an argument of like, all right, we've seen this song and dance before where Indiana plays one great team and ends up being really, really bad, and then they lose a bad game to Penn State, and then you're like, oh, okay, maybe they're not in the playoffs.
I think
you only get 2 in.
I think it could be complicated. I mean, because it's a deep league. I think it's a deep league. If UCLA can beat Penn State, I think you should go, okay, not on a weekly basis, but we know the middle is meaty.
Oh, it's a meaty middle.
Okay.
It's a meaty middle.
But it could get very complicated with only 3 playoff teams. Like they almost need Michigan to win this weekend.
Okay, so
because if Michigan wins, I think Michigan is favored all the way up to Ohio State.
We can
they'd be 10-1 possibly.
We can kind of break this down right now. It's like Illinois is not going to make it. I don't think so. I don't think Iowa's going to make it.
What if Illinois wins this weekend? They would have the ugly blowout at Indiana, but what if they run the table?
But Illinois though is due for a home loss. Illinois is going to lose a game at home.
They're going to face I think a team. I'm going to say this. Ryan Day 75-10. I'm going to say this. I think this Ohio State team is better than last year's Ohio State team.
Wow.
What they're doing defensively is historic.
And the defense is so good.
Sayin has started to grow, and they have the best route runner in the 26th draft in Tate.
I was about to say Carnell Tate.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you right now, I know everybody's and Jeremiah Smith, rightfully so, like great player.
Mm-hmm.
Carnell Tate, man's a dude. Yep. Like that's a guy. I think he's being disrespected on the broadcast because they go, he would be the number 1 wide receiver in most places. No. I really think Carnell Tate would be the number 1 wide receiver in maybe every other place. Like that's how damn good he is.
I mean, that defense, I know they were down 3-0, but so was Penn State. They were up 2-0 on Nebraska Friday night in volleyball. Minnesota was up 3-0, and Ohio State decided to score the next 42 points. Their big play offense. I mean, I have Miami as number 1, Ohio State number 2. You could flip them, and I just go off of who Miami has beaten.
You've been on the Miami train for the last 3 weeks, and
I love Miami,
and they've given you no reason to jump off said train. I don't think that's a bad take
because I like them in the trenches. That's why Miami, Ohio State national championship game.
That'd be awesome
on Miami's home field.
Yeah.
But where have we heard that before?
I honestly though,
would be the case this year if Miami got to the final.
I think USC losing to Illinois just did the Big Ten absolutely zero favors. I mean, that was a really bad loss for the league because first off, Illinois looked terrible against Indiana. And, you were traveling 2 time zones, but USC ends up winning that game. Then a bunch of other games that USC is involved in matter way more, right? And the stakes are way higher. And potential wins for Michigan and for Nebraska and for the other teams in the Big Ten matter so much more. And it builds their resume.
It's a playoff elimination weekend. Illinois loses,
done.
USC loses,
done. You don't think
Michigan losing also could be, but they still have Ohio State.
I think they'd be done.
Still be Michigan. They don't have 2 losses. If they beat Ohio State at the end of the year, they'd have 2 losses. It'd be USC and Oklahoma.
I don't know if
it's complicated. The Big Ten, the Penn State, you've made a lot of things, Penn State in the Big Ten, complicated in the last decade plus.
See,
you losing to UCLA made things complicated.
I know the history is going to come against me here and say that Michigan has beaten Ohio State over the last couple of years, but I was watching the Michigan-Wisconsin game and Wisconsin was very competitive with them until they started doing the things that Nebraska was doing, which was missing tackles and not properly fitting their runs in the secondary. And I just think that Ohio State is not going to make those mistakes. I think Ohio State is going to wrap up Justice Haynes. I think they're going to tackle.
You don't know
the
until they
wide
get to that game.
receivers.
That's why it's week to week. You don't know. You probably were saying that last year, and look what happened.
Well, I think
Michigan won the football
I
game,
think last year we were saying, wow, this Michigan team can't throw the football. How are they possibly going to beat Ohio
but they won in
State?
Columbus.
and then they
It's the
kicked the
beauty of the
crap out of
sport
them.
week to week. It's also the beauty of the sport that Nebraska has one of the odder stats of the year. So the defensive backfield is trending towards the 09 elite, no fly zone. We'll see what they're like this weekend because I think they'll be tested in the passing game
Mhm.
by a quarterback more than they've been tested before, but maybe they shy away from it. Who knows?
Sure.
The Nebraska defense, they are 4th in the country in third down conversion rate by opponents.
Okay.
4th in the country.
Okay. Great.
They are 133rd in the country in getting off the field on 4th down. Teams this year are 9 out of 11 on 4th down against Nebraska. They're 4th in the country in getting off the field on 3rd down. But when a team says, not so fast,
Mhm.
we're going for it on 4th down, Nebraska's 133rd.
I can-
There are 136 teams that are in the stats.
I can tell you, I think we all know why. They're not good up front. And when they go for it on 4th down, it's 4th and 1 or 4th and 2. And so it's like all you need is a sneak, or all you need is a power run play, or all you need to do is get in the eye for him. And Nebraska football is not, that's the weakest part of their team.
There was like no respect for Nebraska's offense. Middle of the field, Michigan State's going for it.
Yeah.
Like,
That was a good tweet by you.
like
Also, too, Gary, that sneak was embarrassing. I don't care. I
the
don't care.
touchdown one.
I don't care if anybody gets mad at me for saying it. That was one of the most embarrassing plays in football I've seen in my life. Okay. You're at 4th down. You're on the 1 yard line, and he sneaks it in there, and he just walked in. He was untouched on a sneak. How do you not get any sort of pressure on him? How do you get no linebackers
That's
or
when
no D linemen or
that's-
anything?
That brought the tweet of Nebraska's a hot mess because it was going south.
It was
And
embarrassing.
then one play may have saved the season. 3rd down and 10. It's a victory
I
Monday.
don't think
Yeah.
don't think that's a crazy take.
All right. When we come back after that play, no one booed.
Yeah, they're going to if they didn't do it.
So we're going to discuss this because I
Okay.
know you want to talk about the booing. We saved it till the end. I didn't hear it, but I saw it, and now I know of it.
yeah, there are I have multiple.
I'd be a great detective.
I have multiple thoughts on it, and there was also something in the press conference afterward that I want to bring up that I think kind of alludes to the booing.
All
if
right.
you will.
We'll boo our way to the end of the show, like some of you may do. Show sucks. Boo!
Boo.
Bring back Chicken Nick in the morning. Boo!
I'm gonna end up on Chicken Nick probably
Why?
because they like the fluidness meme. It's
Yeah.
fluid.
Oh,
And I didn't know what was going on, and so I low key got.
Oh,
punked.
you.
I got.
Yes,
punked.
you got pranked on air.
I got pranked. I had no clue what was happening. The guy was clearly drunk though. He was drunk. Gary, come on. You know I know my way
I
around
don't
drunk
know.
people. He
I
was
don't
drunk.
know. I think he was. I think he was fluid.
He had fluids in him, is what I think.
We're back with more after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, Nebraska's on the road for the next 2. But when they come home, you could be at the Ultimate Blur tailgate party for Nebraska Northwestern. And for your chance to win 2 tickets, go to 1620thezone.com right now.
Caleb Kamalafe looked pretty good for the Cats against ULM.
Yeah.
Preston Stone finally looked like a serviceable quarterback.
Yeah, we put it to Monroe's ass.
We did. After we had a terrible first drive and I'm 7-0, and I'm like, oh no.
Hey, nice win. Nice goal line stand. KU wins in Orlando against UCF.
Yeah, the apprentice learned a lot of new F words Saturday night.
Hey, also good. Bill Self had a good week. Like KU basketball getting commits. He's had a good little stretch here.
Oh, Gary.
Okay.
You knew.
He's back.
What do you say? What, 20-something days?
Jimmy's Bill Self is back, baby.
Yes.
I love it when Jimmy does Bill Self.
More Bill Self,
Stud.
less John Gruden.
Let me tell you what, man.
No.
When
I
I
would,
think of Dylan Raiola,
I'm
man.
gonna boo that. Okay, so
Oh,
we need
what
to
a segue.
Hey, we need to discuss this because I didn't hear the booing, but I saw it on the discussion on the old Twitter machine, and then it was brought up after the game. So I didn't hear it. So everything was I got the secondhand boo.
Yeah. That's funny.
Were they booing the play call? Because it's
No.
the 4th and 42,
Let me-
right?
let me-
Which is unbelievable. The Nebraska somehow ended up in 4th and 42.
I don't.
That's
so,
when the booing happened, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
so some people were saying they were booing. That
They're
they were
booing the offensive line?
They were booing the play calling, right?
Well,
But here's-
Latovsky thought they were booing the offensive line. He just said, F it.
Well, here's my thing though. Like
These guys swear a lot.
it wasn't a. You had 3 plays in a row that were absolutely terrible. They were absolutely awful. I don't think.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? What do you mean they were booing the play calling? The play calling didn't happen because Dylan Raiola ended up on his butt. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you mean we're booing the play? It's not like they were throwing screens or like doing dumb crap. Like he got sacked twice in a row, and then you had a bad snap that forced you out of field goal positioning after your defense has come up with multiple big plays, and you should have more points.
Nebraska won a game by 11 in which they had a 4th and 42,
Yeah.
and they went first 42 minutes of the game with only 77 yards of total offense. We are back. We are
There-
back. This is the new Nebraska. Welcome.
Schaefer had a tweet. He had a great tweet where Nebraska's field positioning was absolutely incredible for 3 straight drives, and they didn't score any points. That's why they were booed.
Well, so they had 48 yards on their opening drive. Before they matched that, you had to go to the start of the third quarter because they then went 4 plays, 19 yards, 3 minus 32 yards, 7 plays, 7 yards, 3 and out, 2 yards. And then when they turned it over on downs to begin the second half, 5 plays on 23 yards. Okay. So you guys, a very passionate caller called into Big Red overreaction.
Yeah.
Rule addressed it. He kind of defended people's rights to boo. Then he said to Dylan, "What? They're paying $12 a beer, whatever." To me, we're this isn't new because the fan that is the new fan has changed. That you're no longer a fan, you're a consumer. And I think that's how people look at the product in Lincoln, even though it's played with college kids who are now paid. You personally went from fan to consumer because of the price, not saying you have all the right in the world to boo, but it has happened a little bit more, and we hear about it a little bit more. So I know you wanted to bring
take.
I know you wanted to bring this up. I did not hear it. I don't have like this, oh my God, Nebraska fans suck.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
like,
neither do I.
I'm like, this might be more of a bigger deal than we think.
So,
The 8 guys that have deep voices and can boo, and everybody in the
Sure.
stadium can hear them.
And while I agree with you, it's probably a bigger deal than we think. I'm still going to give my opinions on it and talk.
Oh,
about it
I
and
know
make
you
it a
will.
Bigger deal. But I want to go back to you real quick though.
I would be disappointed if you said this is one topic in 9 months I do not have an opinion on.
I have been.
I'm
better
good. Back to you,
about
Gary.
that. I've been better about that.
Remember what
but-
Josh Hodson said?
I know, Mr. Opinion. Real quick, I want to go back to what you said though. This is interesting. I didn't think about this before. Do you think that people, because they're spending more on tickets, they're spending more on food, they're spending more on beer, they're spending more to watch the games on TV, so on and so forth, that they now feel more entitled or more rightfully so
'Cause
to
they're
be angry
They've
at a
lost
game.
money.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I know it probably is like, well, you know, because they've seen bad football. I'm just thinking we look at the expendable income. We're spending a lot of money on a crap product. I'm going to let
Yeah.
it be heard.
I see. I didn't think of it that way.
Fan to a consumer. We're now we're 90,000 consumers in Memorial Stadium instead of 90,000 fans.
I think Nebraska fans have felt promised that this is going to be different, that aspects of this team is going to be different, that under Matt Rule, the team, something has changed. And when they see things that remind them of crap that happened before, and they're seeing things that make them believe things haven't changed at all, it makes them incredibly angry, and they go ahead and boo. And I don't think that's a bad thing. Like, I don't really blame the fans for being displeased. And, you know, like Matt Rule said, they bought a ticket, they showed at the game, they spend their money, they have the right to do what they want. I also don't have a massive problem with some players. If players are annoyed by it, right? Like, they're annoyed that their fans are booing them and they think that they should, you know, be cheering them. I understand that too. You know, I don't like being booed. If you were to boo me, if I had a bad take, I don't think I'd enjoy that.
That would be a
You
segment.
know, but I just think the more important thing is that we don't have to make this like a war between the players and like fans booing and fans booing.
I don't think it is.
I don't think it is either, but I don't want it to escalate to that. Like, I would just prefer it to be just like, hey, it happens. And if you don't like being booed, players, like, go out there, use it as motivation. And you know what? If you do something good, the fans are going to cheer
Hey.
even louder, which they did.
Y'all are weak booers. If you were at the 97 Central Florida game, you are weak booers.
Like,
you know, you could have booed like they booed Frost coming off the field in 97 when Nebraska was down 17-14 at halftime against Central Florida, when Dante Culpepper was wheeling and dealing and they had the deaf running back. And I forget his name. Great
Same,
story.
but I know what you're talking
Great
about,
story.
yeah.
But Dante Culpepper
Dante
was
was a
beast
dude.
that day.
Yeah.
So they're up a field goal going to halftime. That's the 97 season. And people were booing Frost because they wanted Frankie London at quarterback.
Our generation booed louder.
There was a comment made after the game. I remember this specifically. For those of you that booed Frost, you know who you are, what gives.
That's funny.
But they were much better booers back then.
Yeah.
And that was a much better football team. So what's up?
And also too, though, like I do think this, I want to bring this up too. Like the whole argument of like, oh, they're just kids, or oh, they're just 18-year-olds, or oh, they're just, 20-year-olds.
Yeah. You still have those. He called bigger overreaction.
I don't think that really qualifies anymore, though, because you know what? They're getting paid a lot of money. Like, they're getting paid a lot of money. They are now, like, this is now their profession. Like, this is there are heightened expectations in there, and it's great that they're getting paid. I'm in all support of them getting paid, but there's a give and a take here. And when there's like a legitimate investment, that means that the stakes and expectations should be higher.
Okay, so on that note, and this is how we'll finish the show. We'll continue the discussion tomorrow. Don't forget Rule Talks today. Head of Maryland. Interesting game. Kellyanne texts in. Players are getting paid. It makes me expect more.
Yes.
Okay, so just a quick one. Quarterback gets $3 million, allegedly, reportedly. Do you expect more from a $3 million quarterback?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I expect you to boo Dylan.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying I'm going to boo Dylan.
When you go to the press conference tomorrow and he's at the podium, boo!
No, but I don't know. I didn't like how he started his press conference after the game. Just say that.
All right. That'll do it for the show. It's just different. It's a different cat. Okay.
It's like you would have thought he lost the football game.
Yeah. They rushed the passer. This will be this will be a very interesting test.
You
know what? This is an important little moment in the 3 years of this program to go to Maryland in a game that the line is short and people are going to go, it's Nebraska. But what they do well and you don't do well.
Yeah. Not the best matchup. And
it's okay. I'm trying to give some hype for this game. I
think there's hype, but you're also coming off an emotional win.
It's a good little benchmark game. we have plenty to talk about as we boo our way through the week. There. I know you wanted to talk about it. I'm like, I didn't hear it. So
I just think it was like I just want to put out there that I don't think it's a
would you
bad
be a
thing on
booer?
either side.
You booed in the student section, you said.
No, I was rarely in the student section. I was working.
Okay.
I went to like 3 games as a student.
People were booing you on Care and You.
If people been booing me my entire life.
All right, crossovers coming up next. Looks like today is a washout. So stay inside. Sounds like a good idea. It's cold, by the way. It is really, really cold. Crossovers coming up next. Matt Rule speaks in about 90 minutes, and we'll react tomorrow with all of you after the Chiefs and the Cubs make our night on 1620 The Zone. We'll see you tomorrow.